Aaron Boone had another victory to celebrate last night as his Bombers opened the homestand on a high note. Devin Williams closed it out to give the Yankees 6 wins in their last 7 games that were decided by just 1 run. They can win another series tonight as the Yankees host the Cleveland Guardians on a Wednesday night at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Yankees pregame on Prime. I'm Meredith Morakovitz alongside Todd Frazier and Jack Curry. Once again, the Yankees found a way to get it done last night. They're now a season-high 15 games above 500, Jack, and you have to be encouraged by what you've seen from them.
They've been resilient. They've been resourceful, Meredith, and I think throughout a baseball season, a team shows you its personality. When I think about the personality of this Yankee team, it's a tough team. It's a talented team. And you heard Jazz Chisholm mention that he wants to win a World Series as a Yankee. That means he's working on a dream, just like everyone in that clubhouse. Clark Schmidt is part of that. The Yankees would love to get some length from him this season, but I think this team has showed that it is one of the best teams in baseball. It's something that they hope continues. The Yankees have won 18 of the last 24. Best record in the majors since early May.
You say personality, I automatically think of Jazz Chisholm Jr. We'll break down his night in just a little bit. But first, we know with this Yankees team, regardless of the situation, the expectations are always sky high. And so far, they've been meeting the expectations, Todd.
And you got to have big goals, too, as well. First, when you come into spring training, Garrett Cole goes down. And then what do you think? Well, Max Fried has to step up. And then you need somebody else. Carlos Rodon has done excellent, too, as well. Judge keeps doing what he's doing. In the overall picture, who thought they would be leading the league or leading the AL East in 6.5 games? They're doing awesome. They're coming together as a team, and they're figuring out ways to win, and that's the Yankee way.
And we saw that last night. Let's now head out to the stadium where our very own Chris Sheeran is standing by with a clubhouse report. Chris, the Yankees are certainly handling business in the Bronx, now 19-9 at home.
And Meredith, as we all know, it's very important. If you want to win a series, you got to get that first game. That's exactly what they did last night. You all talked about Jazz Chisholm's impact last night with his solo shot. He went back-to-back and belly-to-belly with Anthony Volpe in that 3-2 victory. Devin Williams got the save. And now it's on to Clark Schmidt. He could pitch the Yankees to a series victory tonight. And his MO, the last 3 seasons, in 47 of his 56 starts, he's allowed 3 runs or less. And that's kept the Yankees in striking distance when he's on the hill. And one of those starts, one of those 47 where he gave up 3 or less, is in his last start against the Angels out in Anaheim. And I asked Aaron Boone what stood out about his last outing.
Just a good bounce back start for him, you know, probably a little off in Colorado, and just turned the page on it and really got after it. I feel like stuff's been in good place all year, where he was a little erratic there, I thought, in Colorado. Just, you know, a lot of pitches, some non-competitive ones in there, and that wasn't the case in his next start against the Angels. So, you know, loaded up left-handed lineup against him today, and you know, he's equipped to go handle it.
Devin said he's in a better rhythm now.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen out of him lately? Over his last dozen appearances, he's got a 2.45 ERA.
Yeah, probably that. Dictating counts better, better strike throwing. Fastball's been better at times. I feel like the changeup, pretty much most of the year, has been really good. The depth on it. I thought he executed a lot even last night. You know, obviously they made him work, and it was, you know, threw a lot of pitches, and a lot of that I thought Santana really put a good at bat on him, really extending the at bat where Devin made some good pitches. So, you know, I just feel like his fastball changeup combination right now is in a good place, and the strike throwing's been good. So, you know, with that, it's going to come success.
We all know the beginning of the season, Devin Williams got out to a slow start, but take a look at his last 12 games. 2 saves in 2 opportunities, pitching to a 2.45 ERA, and opponents are just hitting over the Mendoza line. Also has 5 holds. He's had 48 pitches in 3 of the last 4 games. And Aaron Boone also talked about his changeup depth, and that has remained the same, everyone. For the last 3 seasons, he was in Milwaukee with the Brewers, and so far in this season with the New York Yankees. And for those 3 seasons in Milwaukee with the Brewers, that changeup depth led him to pitch to a sub-2 ERA. Now, as far as the bullpen is concerned tonight, we told you Williams, 3 of the last 4 games, 48 pitches. Mark Leiter, he threw 16 last night, but everybody else had the night off. Fernando Cruz got up but did not come into the game, so the next time he steps on the mound, and maybe it's tonight against the Guardians where he reemerges. His last outing was May 17th against the Mets, so we'll see if that devastating splitter could stymie the Guardians here in the Bronx tonight. Now, let's move on to the Yankees lineup. There are only one change in the Yankees lineup for Aaron Boone tonight, and that is at catcher. Austin Wells is doing the catching tonight, and that means Jazz Chisholm, who you all talked about, is back in the 6 hole, back at the hot corner. And earlier today, I asked the Yankees manager what it means to have the selfless Jazz Chisholm Jr. back in the fold.
It's great having him back, to plug him into the 6 hole and lengthen our lineup. He can beat you so many different ways. And the selflessness is just awesome. He loves his team. He wants to do anything he can to help us win. I think he's put it, I want a ring. That's where the focus lies. And I think that's where the focus lies with the group. We're obviously a long way away from being in that position, but to have people come in that room and just want to be part of shaking hands every day, that's what it's about, and that's where their focus is, and Jazz is epitomizing that.
Couple of injury updates for you all as well. Jason Dominguez said he felt better today. Earlier today, he received treatment. He was supposed to take swings today, and Aaron Boone's usage of him tonight was dependent on how he felt after taking those swings. So stick around for the post-game show. We'll get an update on Dominguez. As far as Giancarlo Stanton goes, guys, he was down in Tampa today. Just a workout day for him. He's on his way back to the Bronx today. And Aaron Boone said the team will know in the next 24 hours if he'll be ready for a rehab assignment. So look for Big G on the radar for Aaron Boone and company. Guys, back to you.
Chris, appreciate it. And you wonder what that Yankees lineup is going to look like when Giancarlo Stanton is back in it. We look forward to hearing you throughout the game alongside Michael Kay and Paul O'Neill. When we get back, we will talk about that man right there, the immediate impact he made, his first game back coming off the injured list, all things Jazz Chisholm Jr. when we return on the pregame on Prime.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to present to you something exclusive. Yeah, we on it again, so baby, let's go. So come on, baby, clap your hands. I came to do my dance. I got to shoot my shot. I got to take my chance. And what I gotta give it to you. And you know what we give it to do now.
The mental changes is just that, you're at second base, you make that short throw every time, you have a lot of time, you don't have to go after balls, go and get it. And the mental thing about it is like, sometimes you catch the ball over there at third base and you look at the first baseman and you're like, wow, he's pretty far. You know what I mean? Like, even though you have the arm strength to get it over there, it's just like sometimes you look and it looks pretty far. And that's the mental thing of just being from second base and going to third base. But like I said, I got a lot of great guys in this room that back me up. If I wasn't playing third base good, they'd still come and back me up and tell me I'm playing great. So, that's the best thing about it, is that I could just go out there and feel free every day to just do whatever. No matter if I go out there and don't play the best, my guys still got me.
And guys, Aaron Boone said it the other day, not everyone can just play third base. It's clear that Jazz Chisholm Jr. has the athleticism to do so. We saw it last year when he came over to the Marlins. Now, there is somebody on this set that can talk a little bit about playing third. And Jack, it's not you and it's not me. It is the man in the middle, Todd Frazier, over 1,000 games throughout your career at third base. So let's rewind back to 2017, shall we? You with the New York Yankees. Here we go. There he is. Take me through it, Todd.
Yeah, no, that setup was pretty bad, but I made up for it with the barehanded play right there. Again, third base is about reaction. I remember that one there, going to my left against the Twins, and then this one right here, helping out CC. It's a reaction, man. Third base, it's not for everybody. The biggest thing is positioning-wise. Positioning-wise and understanding where to play. You got a guy that's up there that drives the ball down the line. Of course, you're going to move closer to the line. But, of course, at the end of the day, you got to know and go with your gut, too, as well. If the guy's fouling off a couple pitches, I'm going to move over this way. So, fortunate enough for him, he's an athlete. Jazz Chisholm can do anything. Second base is a lot tougher. It's the other side of the field, as we know. You got to know where to position yourself, and you got to be ready at all times. It's that one step and a dive mentality. You're playing third base. It's a fun position. You're always into it, and he can do anything, Jack.
You mentioned that. Just how important is pre-pitch then, knowing where you need to be and reacting immediately?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Doing your notes before the game and understanding, okay, I got to move over just a little bit. And going with your gut sometimes. I tell every young kid right now, go with your gut. If you're feeling well right there, then do your thing and have fun.
And as instinctive a position as there is on the field, too, because other than the pitcher, the third baseman is closest to the action than anyone. So how much did instincts play a part in your success?
Well, it was huge. I was a shortstop coming up, Jack, and that, everybody's like, really? You were a shortstop? I couldn't run, but at the same time, I knew where I was supposed to be. Then I played a little bit of outfield, and then I understood, listen, this is where I was going to be. Scott Rowland retired, and we just kept working on it. And another thing, what kind of glove are we going to use? There's little intricacies. Yeah. He told us yesterday he uses an 11.5-inch glove. For me, that's too small. I used a 12, almost 12 and a quarter glove because I can get more reaction and get more arm to the ball. But again, it's for whoever wants to play there, and Jazz can do it all.
And, Jack, I don't think it should go unnoticed the fact that he is willing to do it. He went into Aaron Boone's office and said, anywhere you need me to play, I will play. Not every player in the league would do that.
Twice now he's done that. When Jazz Chisholm was acquired last year by the Marlins, the Yankees initially wanted Gleyber Torres to move over to third base. He told general manager Brian Cashman of the Yankee staff, I don't want to move. Jazz Chisholm said, I'm fine, I'll handle it. Had never really played that position before. And now this year, again, Meredith, I think he deserves a huge pat on the back for his selflessness. And though the batting average isn't where he wants it to be right now, try these numbers on for size. 77 games as a Yankee. He's got 19 homers, 24 stolen bases. If you push that out to a 162-game season, 40 homers, 50 stolen bases. Yes, the Yankees would sign up for that.
And, Jack, do you think this is the new reality? We'll see him at third base the rest of the year, or this is a temporary thing?
I think the Yankees are leaning on his versatility and the fact that you could flip-flop him between both spots. I think DJ LeMahieu is more comfortable and is someone you could play at second base right now. But, Meredith, you, I, and Todd all know that the Yankees could be a different team at some point. General manager Brian Cashman has talked about potential upgrades. I think the infield could be one of those areas.
Well, guys, let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup for tonight. And as we noted, Jazz Chisholm Jr. is in there. He bats sixth in the lineup. He is one of 6 players in baseball to have 30 home runs and 45 stolen bases since last season. At the top, it's Grisham, Rice, and Judge. Add in Paul Goldschmidt, and the Yankees are one of 2 clubs to have 4 qualified hitters who have an OPS of .840 or better this season, the other team being the Cubs. As for the Guardians, who are now 19-36 against the Yankees since 2018, it'll be Juan Martinez and Jose Ramirez, who is riding a 29 straight game on base streak. Cleveland has not had a player with a 30-game streak since Carlos Santana did it back in 2019. And speaking of Santana, we saw the at-bat he had last night against Devin Williams in the 9th. Well, he's batting .429 with 3 homers over a 12-game hitting streak of his own. Still to come here on the Yankees pregame on Prime, we will turn our attention to the pitching side. It is going to be Clark Schmidt who prepares to take the mound for the Yankees tonight. We'll talk about what we've seen from him lately next on the Prime pregame. And Clark Schmidt has pitched at least 6 innings in 4 of his last 5 starts. He's 2-1 with an ERA just above 3 during that span. And he's been very good at getting strike one. The knuckle curve, well, that has been a force. Opponents are batting just 128 with a 154 slug against it. And Jack, last time out, a nice bounce back when he was in Anaheim. 6 strong, 0 runs allowed out of Schmidt.
And what was important in this start, Meredith, is he encountered difficulty early. Here's the first inning, second batter of the game, uses that cutter to get a 4-6-3 double play. Ward also in the first inning, runner in scoring position. The sweeper gets him through. A couple of guys on base here, a cutter to get Darno, and then he gets Taylor with a sweeper. Neto is having a terrific season at the top of the order. He gets him swinging on that sweeper. After those base runners in the first inning, he retired 14 of the next 15. And I think we've seen the evolution of a young pitcher, understanding, Meredith, as you noted, how important it is to get deep in games. And Todd, when he gets in a position to use them, that knuckle curve and that sweeper, they're both nasty pitches.
Yeah, and I think the crazy part about it, people know it's coming. So this is a pitch right there that he's using, and it's very effective. A lot of swing and miss, and the opportunity's there. We talked about this earlier before the show. Right now, if they're in the playoffs, this is your number 3 starter here. So this is a guy you want to see go more than 6 innings. 6+ would be great. You know, if I'm Booney right now, give him a little leeway. Give him a chance. If he's got to go over 100 pitches, might as well. He can do it. He's been there before, and he's been in the Bronx for a little while now. So give him his opportunity. He's going to go out there and do his job.
Well, Schmidt is just about ready to go. On the other side, it'll be Luis Ortiz. It's his 4th career start against the Yankees. And the first 3, well, they have not gone well for him, guys. 0-2 with a 5.79 ERA, nearly 1 walk for every strikeout. They scored 4 earned runs against him earlier this season. And keep an eye on Paul Goldschmidt. He is 7 for 10 with a couple of doubles against him so far this year. Unfortunately, we are starting to run out of time here on the Prime pregame, but when we come back, we will have some final thoughts, so stick with us as we inch closer to first pitch between the Yankees and the Guardians. The Bronx sure has been good to the Bombers this year. They come into tonight's game having won 5 in a row at the stadium, and their 19-9 record at home is good for 3rd best right now in the American League. You heard Chris Sheeran talking a little bit about the bullpen. Well, who will be available tonight? High pitch count for Devin Williams last night, pitched 3 out of his last 4, so don't expect him to be an option. You can probably say the same about maybe Mark Leiter Jr. So, Todd, I will ask you, who do you think closes out tonight's ball game should the situation dictate?
The new guy, Fernando Cruz. It's not so new, but yes, this guy has come off an injury, and now he's back ready to go. For him, he just got to stay on cruise control, throwing that nasty splitter, which hitters cannot really hit. He's a guy that you're looking to do damage with. He's the guy you got to bring in, Jack, and he's got to do very well for them if they have this close game coming into the end of the game.
I agree with you. I think he gets the call tonight, and I think Cruz has carried himself like a closer already this season. He comes in, he's got an aggressive mentality. He wants to get strike one, get ahead in the count. Todd already mentioned that splitter. It's a pitch that befuddles even the hitters who are great contact hitters. A guy like Kwan even looked like he couldn't figure out that pitch. So as the Yankees wait for Weaver, Cruz, Williams, Loaizaga, Leiter Jr., they're all going to have to pick up the slack.
And, guys, I talked to Cruz yesterday. I asked him, are you worried about that splitter being there coming back? He said, no, I'm ready to go. It'll be there. That's going to do it for us here on the pregame on Prime. Don't forget to flip over to Yes after the final out, where Todd, Jack, and I will be waiting with the postgame. But for now, we are going to send it back to the Bronx. Michael Kay and Paul O'Neill standing by. Chris Sheeran reporting tonight. Enjoy the baseball. Yankees Guardians up next.
Last night, the Yankees returned home to the Bronx after a long West Coast road trip and were greeted by their new third baseman.
I feel like I'm a natural third baseman. I just go out there and just feel superhuman over there.
Jazz Chisholm manned the hot corner and immediately made his presence known. Flashing to Leather, grounded to third, backhanded by Chisholm. Sets and fires. Oh, what a backhanded scoop by Goldschmidt. And that smooth swing. That one is driven to right field and deep. See ya! Welcome back, Jazz Chisholm. Jazz has blasted the 7th, broke a 1-1 tie, and gave the Yankees a lead they would never relinquish. Tonight, Clark Schmidt takes the mound, looking to shut down the Guardians and lock up the series. It's Game 2 here in the Bronx, and it's all coming up next on Prime. It's a gorgeous early June evening here in New York City and in the Bronx. Well, it is time for baseball as Prime presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Cleveland Guardians in the middle game of a 3-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with Paul O'Neill, I'm Michael Kay. Yankees won the first game of the series 3-2. Great performance by Carlos Rodon. So now he passes the baton to Clark Schmidt, who gets to start tonight. Schmidt coming off what was perhaps his best start of the year, and that was against the Angels.
Well, he did. He had a great performance. He had his 6 shutout innings and a 1-0 win for the Yankees. I think he's still trying to get back to where he was. If he pitches ahead, there's not a better breaking ball in the major leagues.
All right, 8 starts this season, 2-2, 3.95 ERA. You see the rest of the numbers for Schmidt. Now, he's facing a Guardian team, not a good offensive team, but one guy you have to worry about is a future Hall of Famer, and that's Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, that is not, and no doubt is he a Hall of Famer. He has power. He steals bases. He pretty much does everything for this organization. 40 stolen bases last year. He is one of the better players, if not in the top 5 in the American League.
And all he does is get on base game after game. He has a 29-game on-base streak. During that time, hitting almost 406 home runs and on-base percentage of .456. Well, the Yankees got a jolt yesterday off the IL. That guy, Jazz Chisholm, he fielded the position beautifully, and then he gave the Yankees some big power to break a 1-1 tie. Chris Sheeran has more when we return on Prime.
Chris Sheeran back to here as we continue to get you ready for this second game of a 3-game set between the Yankees and the Guardians here in the Bronx. Jazz Chisholm missed 29 games this season with a right oblique injury, but last night his return paid instant dividends. He and Anthony Volpe both hit solo homers in the 7th inning, leading the Yankees to a series-opening victory. And earlier today, I asked Aaron Boone what it meant to have Jazz back in the fold.
It's great having him back, you know, to plug him into the 6th hole and lengthen our lineup. He can beat you so many different ways. And the selflessness is just awesome. You know, I mean, he loves his team. He wants to do anything he can to help us win. I think he's put it, I want a ring. You know, that's where the focus lies. And I think that's where the focus lies with the group. We're obviously a long way away from being in that position. But, you know, to have people come in that room and just want to be part of, you know, shaking hands every day, that's what it's about, and that's where their focus is, and Jazz is epitomizing that.
We heard Aaron Boone say it there, guys. He wants to win. He wants a ring. Last night with the media, he said this is his favorite organization that he's played for so far. We also heard him talk about how in Miami he went from the middle infield out to center field. When he came here to the Yankees last season, he went to third base. He did that move, and this year he's gone from 2nd to 3rd again. It's that selfless attitude that makes him so popular in the clubhouse. And check this out, too. He's one of 6 players since last season started to have 30 or more home runs and 45 or more stolen bases. Now let's send it up to Michael Kay and Paul O'Neill, who have the call of the action.
Well, thank you, Chris. You know, you look at that and you hear that he's willing to play third base, and he just told Boone, you know, it's all about a ring for me. And you think, well, all players do that. But, Paul, that's not the case. A lot of players don't.
No, a lot of players just think about themselves, where they want to be comfortable, and they think that's the name of the game. You know what? Sometimes you've got to, you know, do what the team needs, do what the team wants, and, you know, it's refreshing to hear.
And when you have a guy like Mookie Betts, who's been willing to play all over for the Dodgers, and you have a guy like Aaron Judge, who said, yeah, I'll play center field. I mean, that's the rarity. That's the exception. And that's a sad thing to say. But ball players want to be comfortable, as you said, and if they feel comfortable in a certain position, they don't want to move. A good guy, Gleyber Torres is a great guy. When they got Jazz Chisholm, he said, I'm not moving to third.
Yeah, it's almost like, you know, talking back to your mom and dad. I'm not moving. Well, you know what? You are moving. We need you to move. And
right.
I think organizations realize the importance of having players that can play different positions and are willing to do different things than they're used to.
And you just look at him now. I mean, I think he enjoys every second being a big leaguer. And he played the beginning of his career in Miami. They're not big crowds. They weren't playing for much. And I think he's really soaking this in and enjoying the whole Yankee experience.
Well, I mean, I didn't realize he had the power that he has, coming over from Miami, but he does add a lot of, personality to the team. He is a tremendous athlete. You just don't shift a guy from second to center field to third base and have him do it as well as he did. And, I think the Yankees are even surprised at what they got.
One quick thing, those smiles that we just showed, yeah, more than you smiled in 9 years here on the field.
And they were real, too.
Yeah, they were real. Let's take a look at the Guardians' batting order as the Yankees have taken the field. Kwan leads off, then Martinez and Ramirez. Middle third, Carlos Santana, Kyle Manzardo, and Daniel Sneeman. Batting seven, Gabriel Arias, the shortstop. Bo Naylor will catch, and Nolan Jones in right field is going to bat ninth. Who are they going to face? Well, we told you earlier. It's Clark Schmidt making his ninth start, 2-2, 3.95 ERA. You see the other numbers, perhaps too many walks for his liking, but opponents hitting .224 against him. Let's check out the pitcher scouting report, Paul.
Much better. After the bad start in Colorado, he bounced back really well against the Angels. 6 shutout innings and a 1-0 win. And bare knuckles, that's how we go at it, Michael. Bare knuckles. We're talking about his knuckle curve. It's awesome. Hitter's hitting 128 against it. And in the game, if you look at the last 3 years, Schmidt has given up 3 runs or less in 47 out of his 56 starts. That is consistency. Gives your team a chance to win day in and day out.
Let's check out the defense behind him. You've got Bellinger in left, Trent Grisham in center, and Aaron Judge over in right. In the infield, it's Chisholm at third, Volpe at short, LeMahieu and Goldschmidt on the right side. Austin Wells had yesterday off, so 2 days in a row off for the catcher, and he's behind the plate. Ben Rice will DH, and Clark Schmidt is on the mound. Game 2 of this 3-game set. Yankees won last night 3-2. Another great performance by Carlos Rodon. Yankees would love to take another series. Their streak of 7 straight series won. Well, that was snapped in L.A. when they lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers. And it's also a good feeling, Paul, when you have Max Fried going tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, Max Fried's been awesome. And Clark Schmidt, coming off a great start. Rodon, I mean, what else could you say about this guy? So you've got your #1 punch, Fried. Then you got Rodon. And I think if Schmidt gets back to where he's comfortable and getting back into a routine of pitching like he is now, you can have a pretty good rotation.
Well, the Guardians come in at 32-27. Yankees are 37-22. Stephen Kwan is ready. Clark Schmidt is ready. Now let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch, a strike. We're underway. Ron Culpa, the home plate umpire. Corey Blazer at first. Alex Tosi at second. And Manny Gonzalez is over at third. Culpa is also the crew chief. 1-1. Want to keep Kwan off the bases. He has 8 stolen bases.
Kwan off night last night. They kept him at bay, but he is such a good hitter. Doesn't strike out a lot. As you said, Michael, just a great leadoff hitter. Runs the bases well. Great guy to have leading off the game.
1-2. Crowd over 40,000 last night. Ballpark still filling up here on this Wednesday evening. Beautiful weather. And a 1-2. Just a bit outside with the cutter. Schmidt faced Cleveland toward the end of April on April 21st. Didn't fare well. 4 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. Three and 2.
You see Clark Schmidt. He'll try to use that cutter in on lefties. Got to head in early, and then he tried to backdoor it twice. Missed both times.
Volpe shades a bit up the middle for the lefty swinging Kwan. And he walked him. Now it's time for the keys to the game, Paul.
Well, rockin' Cleveland. We talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The Yankees are 36-19 against the Guardians since 2018. The total package, we've gone over it time and time again. Jose Ramirez, he does everything. He stole a couple bases last night, and he is a .332 career average against the Yankees. And how you going to do it? Weaver on the IL. Williams 30 pitches last night.
And in an eye blink, the Yankees are down 2-0. A long home run for Angel Martinez. Well, that's not how you're going to do it.
Well, I was in the middle of my scouting report, and that was a bomb. You know that? And the important thing for Clark Schmidt is to have control of that cut fastball. He got ahead, but Quan was not able to put him away, and then was not able to do anything here either. Again, there's that cutter, and you see the spin, the little eye on it, but there's no movement to it, and that just it becomes a very mediocre fastball when you get no movement on the cut.
There's Ramirez. Strike.
See those cutters right there, middle of the plate. I mean, obviously the cutter's meant to be on the corner on lefties, in on their hands, and the back door where it never really gets to the outside corner. Middle of the plate, not the best place for it.
The 0-2.
Just right there. I mean, off the bat, just a unbelievably good pitch for a left-hander in Yankee Stadium. Looks so easy in slow motion, doesn't it?
Now that's a shot that you can admire just a bit.
Yeah, well,
The ones that just clear the wall, it baffles me.
Should be running.
I think. Line to right field, and that's a base hit, and it bounces up against the wall. Judge firing to second, and Ramirez in there with a double. So as our colleague Joe Girardi would say, it's not what you want the way this game has started.
Well, again, you get ahead, and it's the cut fastball again with little movement. And, you know, against their top 3 or 4 hitters, you can't get away with that, especially lefties. You've got to get that cutter in on their hands, which he did early in the count, and then left that one out over the middle of the plate. Ramirez on second.
Here is Carlos Santana.
That's a cutter in. You know, at some point you're going to have to, if you don't have it immediately, go to the 2-seam fastball to try to get some rollovers, some ground outs, so you can really find that cut fastball to get to your bigger breaking ball later in the count.
Fly ball right field toward the line into the corner is Judge, and he makes the basket catch for out number 1. Tagging. And moving to third is Ramirez. Nice play by Judge.
You know, it really is, and it just you take it for granted. I mean, here's a guy that pretty much does everything on the field, but you know, you're at a full sprint, knowing that you're going to run out of room quick steps, try to get the ball in. Last night, Michael, with the fan interference, we thought Aaron Judge might actually drop the ball, but watch the hand under the ball off the fan.
Infield in for Kyle Manzardo. Popped up. Who's going to get that? Bellinger on the run toward the line. Makes the catch. And Ramirez bluffs as the throw comes in.
Now, these are big outs. I mean, to leave this runner on third base, I think that Clark Schmidt would be leave the mound with a positive attitude. You give up a couple early, sure, your offense come back, but if you keep allowing those tack-on runs, the guy from third to score on a fly ball, all of a sudden it starts adding up.
Here's Daniel Sneeman. Infield backs up with 2 outs. Sneeman got that base hit against Devin Williams in the 9th inning yesterday, driving a run. Let's see what Ron Culpa is all about. Pitcher friendly, but trending toward neutral. More outside strikes, more low strikes on righty batters. 27th season. He's the crew chief.
He's trending. That makes you popular, isn't it? If you're trending, doesn't that make
on
you
social
popular?
media, yes.
Yeah.
No, you can be trending for bad things too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, doesn't necessarily mean good. Like if I mess up a call right now,
Yeah.
completely flub it, I will be trending as people will be so, oh, you're terrible.
So I trend a lot when I butcher stuff. Is that what
People
you're
love you.
So you're an every night trender.
Well, I hope not for bad things. Line drive, it is a base hit. It'll go to the wall. Scoring easily is Ramirez. Schneemann will go to second, and he's in there with an RBI double. And just like this, Guardians lead 3-0.
Yeah, another hard hit ball. The knuckle curve again did not get in off the plate. And you're not accustomed to seeing Clark Schmidt not be able to really put guys away with that breaking ball. Another one that just kind of sits right there. That's the knuckle curve he's had a ton of success with, but not here.
And they'll talk it over on the mound. Matt Blake out there with the infielders. Schneemann picks up a double, his 18th ribby.
Arias walks to the plate. He is the only right-handed hitter in the lineup tonight. Everybody else is left-handed or a switch hitter, so they have just loaded the lineup. The guys that swing the bat from the left side against Schmidt.
And the 4 guys on the bench are all righties, so they had to have at least one righty in there.
Yeah.
They're a matchup team. That's something that Stephen Vogt does very well. And you have to have the right bench to be able to match up like that on a game-to-game basis. One and one.
He's sticking with that cutter. I think again you got to find that sinker also, so you can get 2 fastballs going in separate directions.
Well, the only other time he's allowed 3 or more runs in an inning was against this Guardian team in that game we talked about on April 21st. It's got to be tough being a starting pitcher who's struggling right out of the gate because you've waited 4 or 5 days for this.
And you're really coming into the game, don't know what pitches you're going to be able to count on. So sometimes that first inning can be the toughest.
Schneemann takes off. He'll steal third easily as Schmidt allowed him to get a running jump.
We talked about the Guardians offense, and it's way down at the bottom of the league. So, you know, they've had more offensive things happen in this inning good than they've had in a long time.
2-2.
I think you see the way Clark Schmidt walked away from that pitch. Again, trying to put him away with a big breaking ball and just kind of hanging it on the outside part of the plate.
Three and two. Bo Naylor on deck. Full count, 2 outs, 3 runs in, runner at third. Just underway here in the Bronx. Swing and a miss, got him. The inning is over. 7 batters go to the plate. 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 man left. Yankees coming back. A panoramic view of this great ballpark, which opened in 2009, opened with a championship. The Guardians have taken the field. Luis Ortiz taking his warm-ups. He has a 3-run lead. This is the order he's going to face. Man standing in the on-deck circle, Trent Grisham starts it off, then Ben Rice and Aaron Judge. Cleaning up is Cody Bellinger. Paul Goldschmidt bats 5th. Jazz Chisholm Jr. is the number 6 hitter. He'll play third base. Then it's Volpe, Wells, and LeMahieu to round out the starting 9. So let's take a look at Ortiz. 12 start. Numbers are not great. Way too many walks. 30 and 59 in the third innings, but he got some good stuff, as it shows with the 64 strikeouts. Let's take a look at the pitcher scouting report.
Well, he's got a 5-pitch mix: fastball, slider, sinker, cutter, and he will use changeup, and he throws them all at any time, and good and bad. You talked about it, Michael. His strikeout rate 25%, which is 10th best in the American League, but third highest in walks at 11.6%. A little help from your friends. I know it's a good song, but he gets no run support whatsoever. They only scored 2.4 runs a game, so he probably took the mound, which is the second lowest in all of the American League. Probably took the mound thinking, what's going on here tonight? I got 3 already.
1-0 on Grisham. And a strike. So with Ortiz, he's allowed 3 runs or fewer in 8 of his 11 starts, but he's had some crooked numbers put up against him as well. That's why he has an ERA of 4.40. The last time out against the Angels, that was on Friday, 1 run in 6 innings. But he didn't get any run support, as Paul mentioned. Facing the Yankees on April 23rd, he struck out 8 but walked 5, giving up 4 runs as he was knocked out in the 5th inning, and he took the loss. Two and 2. Foul back to the screen. And the count 3-2. Ortiz, 26 years old. He's from the cradle of shortstop, San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic. Grisham has worked the count full, making Ortiz work. Look at the Guardians defense: Quan, Martinez, and Jones. Jones has a great arm out right. Infield: Ramirez, Arias, Schneemann, and Manzardo. Bonello behind the plate. Carlos Santana, the DH. Swing and a miss. Got him with the slider, so Ortiz wins that battle.
A lot of fastballs in the count, and then you're right, he hung the slider, but just because of the change of speed, Grisham, you see, kind of hesitates. He picks it up, but had not seen a good breaking ball the whole count.
There's Ben Rice. And a strike. You see some of the stuff, and then the numbers don't match up why he has not done better. The
Right.
stuff is pretty good.
Yeah, you talk about walks, though. I mean, when you walk that many people, 11 point some percent, I mean, you're just giving the the other side too many opportunities to score runs.
And they hit the ball hard. When they hit it, 50% hard hit rate. 6th highest in baseball. Now, when they calculate hard hit, that was a hard hit foul ball. Does
that count?
Does that count? No, it
What I was
doesn't.
thinking is, like, I just can't believe it took that long to put netting up. Because remember those rockets that used to go flying into the stands without the nets down the lines?
Line drive left field coming on Quan. He hit it too hard. Stayed up there for Quan. 2-way.
Sometimes graded bats, you get nothing for them. And that was a graded bat, a great swing, a line drive the other way. Head back to the dugout.
Judge Hits one through the right side for a base hit past the diving Manzardo. So a 2-out single for the Yankee captain.
I'll take that bat right there, Michael. Sounds like he cracked it. That'd be a nice one to have on your mantle, wouldn't it? An Aaron Judge bat. Charlie would love that.
That sounds cracked.
Aaron Judge went up aggressively. Yeah, right in off the handle.
On Bellinger. You know, I had a Paul O'Neill bat signed.
You did?
In my house. I wanted it at a charity auction. So I have it in the house, and this young kid came by and he said, "The announcer has a bat?" I said, "Yeah, he used to play."
Yeah. I always wondered though, people tell me a story like, "So you bought my bat when anytime when you wanted, you could have gotten that bat."
But I would feel weird asking you for a bat.
Oh, you would?
Yeah.
You tell me anything.
Well, not when you were a player. You were a maniac.
You could have asked later.
You could hit me across the head with it.
Here, take it now.
And you know how I know it's a legitimate bat? Because it has that distinctive crisscross taping that you used to do. I think Phil Rizzuto went through that too. He was an announcer for so long. There was a generation they didn't know he played. 1-2.
You know, if you think about that, he probably never even said "Holy cow" his whole career on the field.
I wonder.
And then all of a sudden, that was his phrase.
That was his thing. I never said "see you" before I stepped in the booth.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you your mom and dad when you left?
Bye.
Be home sometime, huh?
Ortiz steps off. 2-2 count on Bellinger. Bellinger 4 for his last 26. He's gone 8 games without an extra base hit. Chop, second base. Schneeman gets Bellinger, and that'll do it in the first. No runs, a hit. No runs, and 1 man left. That's Paul's old field of dreams. Across the street, right here, it's 3-0 Guardians. Well, you can make your Yankee players all-stars. Scan the QR code to cast your 2025 Pro Spirit MLB All-Star ballot daily or visit MLB.com/vote. Bo Naylor leads off the second and chops the first pitch foul. He made the final out of the game yesterday, fly ball to left field as the Yankees hung on for a 3-2 victory. Devin Williams picked up the save. Got a little sweaty, but nailed it down. So we talked about, Jazz Chisholm hit the home run yesterday, and it just cleared the wall in right field. But he went into a home run trot.
Was that a trot or a little two-step?
A little two-step. I mean, he was having fun. And when he got back to the dugout, he said a Yankee coach, he didn't specify which one, as Naylor goes down on strikes, told him, Reggie Jackson once hit a home run that just cleared the wall, and, the Cadillac around the bases. And coach asked him, "Why'd you do that? How did you know it was out?" He said, "I've hit 573 home runs. I know it's out."
That's Reggie talking.
Right. So Jazz Chisholm was that, "Well, you haven't hit that many." He said, "Yeah, but I've hit thousands in my dreams."
Very nice.
Nolan Jones takes a strike.
A lot of people ask that. I mean, when do you know as a player that you hit a home run? And literally 9 out of 10 times right at contact, you know the ball's out of the ballpark. And then there's a few that you think you just miss and they actually go out. And then there's a lot that you think you got to just go to the wall. And those are the ones that drive you nuts. But I would say 90–95% of the time off the bat, you know the ball's headed for the bleachers.
Well, Ron Culpa having some trouble with the Yankee dugout. Somebody is complaining about a pitch call. And those that want to check, Jazz has 85 in his career.
85.
I think this is the pitch that he heard about it. Called that a ball. I've always wondered, I mean, you played the game and you didn't have the best relationship with umpires. You certainly, verbalize your displeasure. I wonder if that gets you calls or hurts you. I mean, the Yankees, they ride the umpires from the dugout.
Yeah.
Does that help them or hurt them?
I think at some point, you do start to get some breaks because it's what's coming at you as an umpire. You're continually missing. But, there are other guys that back in the day where there was no grading and there was no box on the screen, they would intentionally call a pitch 6–8 inches outside just because you argued the pitch before.
Two. Jones fouls it off. Jones in his last 5 games, 8 hits and 15 at bats. He got off to a slow start, and what he's done now is he's trying to make contact. So the exit velocity has gone down, but he is picking up base hits.
Pretty much a shift. You got Jazz Chisholm over at the shortstop position. Volpe almost behind second base. It's quite a left side opening there.
We talk about celebrating when you hit a home run. One of the things about you, when you hit a home run, you drop your head. Did you do that from the very beginning? It almost seemed like you didn't want to show anybody up.
Yeah, I don't really remember. I mean, obviously you didn't show people up because you had to go to the plate again. But a lot of times it was just an emotion. Like I said, you knew you got it, and you just put your head down and yelled "yeah" to yourself.
Swing and a miss. 3 straight strikeouts for Schmidt.
Yeah, it's a big inning for Clark Schmidt to bounce back and find the way he's going to go about getting these Cleveland hitters out. This is one of the better knuckle curves he's thrown all night. A swing and a miss. See, that doesn't go horizontal. That goes down and in, and that's the one that's very lefties are really susceptible to swinging in that because left-handed hitters for the majority of the time love the ball down and in.
Quan pops it up left side, and it's going to land untouched. The closest was Volpe. He couldn't get there, and he had a long run. Remember, there's a lefty up. Quan started the first inning with a walk. That was a portent of things to come. Martinez followed with a 2-run home run, then a double by Ramirez, and then a double by Schneeman. It was 3-0 Guardians. That's where we are right now. In the top of the second. Ground ball through for a base hit.
Again, Quan, he is a contact hitter. This was a 2-seam fastball, speed down and away, ends up kind of middle in. And it's all been about location so far from Clark Schmidt.
There's Martinez, long 2-run home run in the first inning. His 4th of the year, now has 22 ribbies. Pop foul. Out of play.
Now again, location right down the middle of the plate, not where you want that cut fastball. That's where it ends up in the second deck over there.
One and two. How much more confidence do you have in an at-bat after you hit a home run and you come up a second time?
I mean, you just know that if he makes a mistake, you can do that again. I mean, you don't try to get into the mode where I got one, let's hit two. It's just, it got you up to a great start. It's a great question because I always thought that if you got a hit your first time out, you were a better hitter the rest of the night. No doubt about it. And a much better inning from Clark Schmidt.
3 strikeouts for Schmidt in the second. We go to the bottom of the inning, 3-0 Guardians. Back here at the stadium, a lot of youngsters on hand. We go to the bottom of the second inning, 3-0 Guardians. And Goldschmidt takes low. Two and 0. Shattered bat, popped up foul. Broke one last night too. The barrel ends up in short left field.
Well, there's not much left in his hand. I mean, you're talking about a ball that just ran up and in, and thank goodness as a player you're thinking, wow, at least it went foul. That bat won't see any more action, that's for sure. That is the weirdest feeling, Michael, because you have the weight of the bat, and then as you're swinging it, the barrel goes, and then you have no weight. You just got to handle it.
That was a torpedo down. That's a torpedo bat he broke.
Yeah. Torpedoes break too. You know?
So 3-1. And he works a walk to start off the second inning.
The Yankees, and you're looking at the scoreboard, obviously only in the bottom of the second, but you got to try to take the weakness of the pitcher, and the weakness of Ortiz is his ability to throw strikes. So, you know, you want to work counts, you want to give him an opportunity to dig himself a hole where you can get back into this game quick.
Jazz Chisholm Jr. at the plate. Two and one. Two. Now Chisholm is 29 games with a right oblique strain. Came back last night. Hit the eventual game winner off of Tanner Bybee. But hitting 194, and he's gotten off to a slow start. It's the 10th lowest among 130 American leaguers. With 125 or more plate appearances, he goes down on strikes. So he started off slowly, went on the IL. Now he's got to dig himself out.
Yeah, average-wise, I mean, he has put some balls in the seats, but, you know, you looked at that at bat right there. He's ahead in the count, and then he left the strike zone twice for a strikeout.
Volpe takes a strike. Chop foul. Well, we're talking about Jazz's home run right after it.
Yeah, this became the game winner, a hanging breaking ball back to back. And they needed it because Williams gave up a run in the ninth. A good win for the Yankees.
Volpe's 7th home run of the year. Ground ball, tough hop. Ramirez stays with it. There's one, and there's two. Nice play by Jose Ramirez to turn the around the horn double play. No runs, no hits, no errors, and because of the DP, nobody left. We go to the third. It's time for Pinstripe Pride, brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. Tonight's picture is of the Rimby family, who's their own fan club of Yankee fans. Look at that.
Wow, it's like the family picnic there, huh?
Use the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride. Post your picture on social media to reflect your love for the Yankees. We might spotlight you in a future game. Three 3-0 Guardians as we go to the third. 4 hits against Clark Schmidt. He gave up the 3 runs in the first inning. Came back in the second, gave up a hit, but struck out 3. That was a strike. 4 strikeouts in all for Schmidt. So Ramirez, with his double in the first inning, now extends his on-base streak to 30 straight. And during that time, he has over 400 batting average.
You know, you hear about all the big stars, Aaron Judge, and you know, deservedly so, and Ohtani. You never hear his name thrown up. He is one of the better players in all of baseball. He just does everything.
Top 6 in the MVP voting in 5 of the 6 seasons from 17 to 22. And then he was only 10th in 23 before finishing 5th last year.
Came to the ballpark yesterday, and I looked down there early, and he had a guy, one of the coaches with a batting practice machine, just working on it. From 10-15 feet, just bullets and ground balls, just time after time after time. You know, his offensive numbers speak for themselves, but he's really worked hard to become a very good defensive player too.
You know, you and Ramirez are connected a little bit.
Is that right?
His first major league home run was off Brandon McCarthy of the Yankees on August 9th of 2014. Remember that day? Paul O'Neill Day.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You just pulled that out of your hat. That wasn't on any note or anything. Just remembered that. If I remember that day, I think Kluber shut out the Yankees.
You believe that's 11 years ago?
No.
Two. Making Schmidt work. He's at 51 pitches. Goldschmidt flips to Schmidt, and he and Ramirez kind of hugged one away.
Boy, that was a tough play. Goldschmidt got a horrible hop. It kind of went backwards on him, and if Clark Schmidt does not get over there, Ramirez was hustling. You see it kind of handcuffed him because the ball actually came back towards the field of play. Kind of in between hop there. Oh, brotherly love there, huh? as a fielder, you think you're in front of it. And the next thing you know, the ball kind of kicks back and goes sideways on you. You don't have a lot of time to adjust. But a good play by Goldschmidt.
They're lucky they didn't get hurt.
Yep.
That's why during spring training, what they teach pitchers to do is not run directly to the bag. They want you to run directly to the line and then run up the line to get the throw. Because if you run directly to the bag, you are going to cross in front of the runner.
You're going to have some collisions.
One and two.
You see Schmidt, the key is immediately getting over there. And, you know, he did kind of go up the line a little bit, which, again, didn't cross the bag.
You know, we remarked on this yesterday, but remember the old song, Who Wears Short Shorts? Carlos Santana wears short shorts.
Yes, he does.
You know, what are we doing?
Yep. And we told you exactly what happened. Those are Aaron Judge's tall order socks. So he just pulls them all the way up to, you know, where they go and just puts the pants where they go. Which, you know, he could play tennis and not even change his uniform.
Swing and a miss. 2 away.
Maybe he's into pickleball, Michael. That's the new craze, right?
Is that the pants you wear during pickleball?
You wear shorts. Well, the breaking ball is getting better. You're starting to see some swing and misses. So Clark Schmidt has made some sort of adjustment.
Five strikeouts for Schmidt, 2 away here in the third. And he misses outside the Manzardo. Popped up, shallow center. Grisham makes the play, and that's the first 1-2-3 inning for Schmidt as the Guardians go down in order. And we'll go to the bottom of the third. 1974. What a great idea. 10-cent beer night in Cleveland.
With no limit.
Right, and it devolved into a riot. Crowd of 25,000 plus, more than double their average attendance. Things got really ugly in the ninth inning. A fan tried to grab the right fielder Jeff Burrows' hat, making Burrows trip and fall. Now the Rangers manager at the time, Billy Martin, grabbed the fungo bat, told his players, "Let's go get him, boys," and marched to the outfield. Now the Rangers were soon swarmed by fans armed with knives, chains, clubs, and pieces of the seats. That one is lined to first base, 1 away. Indian players then grabbed bats and headed to the field to assist the Rangers. The players soon ran for cover, headed to the clubhouse, locked the doors behind them, and then when a knife sailed near crew chief Nestor Shylock, he finally calls a forfeit, and the Rangers win the game. And then how about this, Paul? After all that happened, the Indians decided to have another 10-cent beer night on July 18th.
I think they put a limit on it, just a couple though.
2 beer limit.
Yeah, 20 cents.
That's out of a movie. Billy grabs a bat and goes, "Let's go get them, boys."
Get them, boys. Where are the horses? We'll just take off.
You hear stuff like that, and you hear stuff like Disco Demolition Night at the old Comiskey.
Yeah.
You wonder, who greenlighted this? Who thought it was a good idea?
I don't know, but every time we tell a story about Billy Martin, Greg Nettles are in the middle of a fight somewhere. Huh?
Somebody once asked Billy about all the fights. He said, "I never threw the first punch. I threw the second, third, and fourth, but I never threw the first punch." Two and 2 on LeMahieu. He's 5 for his last 8 in 2 games. Had an RBI single last night. Gave the Yankees a 1-0 lead. Strike 3. LeMahieu down looking.
Well, you can see Ortiz when he spots the ball with his arm angle against righties. Very tough. A couple fastballs and now a slider right on the outside corner. Tough to adjust to.
That is not elation. There's Trent Grisham, worked the count full in the first inning, ended up striking out on a high slider. And that's a better slider for a strike. One and one. Two and one on Grisham. Three and one. Ben Rice on deck. Arias shades up the middle. 97 miles an hour. Got it past him. 3-2.
He's flat threw that ball by him. He's got a little movement on that four-seam fastball, but he's been 97, 98 all night.
So here's the payoff. And he walked him. Second walk by Ortiz. And that'll bring up Ben Rice. Rice had a good at bat in the first inning, Paul. He lined out sharply to left field, did everything right, but you can't guide the ball.
No, it's a good swing. I mean, you don't want to see Ben Rice always trying to pull the ball. If he can cover the ball away, he'll get enough inside where he can turn on.
Guardians 3 hits and 4 runs. Yankees have just 1 hit. 2-out single in the first by Aaron Judge. Broken bat single through the right side of the infield. Ortiz 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and 2 2/3. That's a base hit to right field. A bullet off the bat of Rice. Runners on first and second. That gives Judge an at bat with 2 on.
Yeah, big at bat and a great at bat from Rice here. Again, you hit the ball to left the first time, so now you see a ball out over the plate and you're able to turn on it because it's an off-speed pitch. Where his open stance has just allowed him all year to really throw that bat head out and just get more bat speed and hit the ball a little bit harder.
So here's Judge. Singled in the first. He comes up as a tying run here in the bottom of the third. 1-0. Trying to tie it with that swing. 1-1. With runners in scoring position so far this year, Judge hitting .450. He has 50 ribbies, 21 home runs. Hitting .390. Got some steam on that fastball.
Again, 98. The one before up under the hands. This one just up out of the strike zone a little bit, but a lot of velocity. Good swings by Aaron Judge. Just a little movement. High riding fastball.
Bellinger on deck. Strike 3. Judge tagged out by Naylor, and that'll do it as the Yankees strand 2. We will go to the 4th. Yankees down 3-0. Well, Rick Pitino, the head coach of St. John's, had the honor of throwing out the first pitch today. And you know what? He didn't bounce it. Got it right to home plate. And so he goes from the mound right up to the booth here on Prime. Coach, how you doing?
Doing great.
Now, we got a tough question to ask you. You want us to ease into it, or should I just hit you with the tough question
Michael
first?
never ease into anything. You know that?
Nick job is open. Do you want it?
Absolutely not. I think whoever comes in, if he doesn't get to the finals, it's going to be deemed an unsuccessful season. So whoever comes in has got so much pressure on them to take this team to the next level, because that's why they're doing it, obviously, in their minds.
See, I follow you on social media, and throughout the whole playoffs, you were very complimentary of the Nick run. And I think from reading that, you also thought Thibodeau's a good coach. Were you surprised?
I think everybody's kind of shocked. You don't fire people that take you to the Eastern Finals, and with the whole town so excited about the team, they're partying on 7th Avenue, and we're not even in the finals. So I think everybody's in shock. But rather than pass judgment, Tibbs has got 3 years left.
At $10 million a year.
Yep. So they made the decision. They got to live with it. And let's see. You guys remember Joe Torre coming in with a difficult time, and he did a great job. So let's see who they bring in.
One away, pitch to Arias is high. You had such a great season with St. John's. How much do you reflect back on really what turned out to be a magical year? It didn't end the way you wanted to, but what a great season.
It was, and we stepped up our schedule where we're playing Alabama and Mississippi in the Garden, playing Kentucky and Atlanta. We're going out to Las Vegas to play Iowa State and Baylor and another great team. So this is our year to see now. We've turned the corner, won the Big East regular season, won the tournament. Let's see if we can go further now in the NCAA tournament.
How different is it, in the other stops that you had, the Kentuckys and the Louisvilles and the Providences with NIL? How different is it recruiting?
I think the NIL really helps St. John's, because outside of Madison Square Garden and the Big East, St. John's is not a football school. Where these kids today are all choosing Alabama and Tennessee and SEC schools, so football's part of it. When I first started 50 some odd years ago, college football and college basketball, the NBA and the NFL were on the same plane. Today, a bad Saturday college football game beats an NBA playoff in terms of ratings.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So football has taken over this country, and the Big East is lucky we don't have football.
And I always wondered, and you got to coach in the NBA, and you won some national championships, obviously, in college. Kids in college are coachable because they have to be. I don't even know, as a coach, how coachable are NBA players?
They're coachable, but you're trying to stay away from injuries, so you're managing people's physical ability to stay healthy. You're managing people motivationally to stay up. And you've got to watch your locker room. You really do. It's so much different than probably baseball. You better make sure that you're friends with Patrick Ewing. I always remember this, calling Doug Collins when we picked up Oakley. I said, tell me what Oakley's like. He said, I'm going to tell you exactly what he's like. He'll either kill you or kill for you. Guess who picked him up at the airport?
Exactly.
Now, you have a great class that came in after a great season, so what do you expect coming up?
We've got great talent. Now we have to mesh this talent, but I do think we have 13 humble guys that are really hungry to make it.
Base hit for Naylor.
So I'm very, very excited. We've got the schedule. We're selling out Madison Square Garden the last 5 games of the season. We moved Seton Hall from campus, who was not having a good year. 9 days later, we moved it to the Garden and sold out. So for St. John's, that's great. Hasn't happened like that since the 80s. And we're really, really excited to bring it back.
And you got a hometown kid coming in from the Bronx, right?
Ian Jackson. Yes, he was at North Carolina, and I said this earlier. North Carolina is a fine school, but he wanted a better education, so he came to St. John's.
Don't send him to Fordham, Michael.
Now, one of the strengths that you have is you're such a great teacher. And I would think that the longer you have somebody, the easier it is to teach them. College basketball now, you have a different team almost every year, so you have to coach differently?
Yes, it's all sort of like the EuroLeague where I was. You got a bunch of guys on a one-year deal, but fortunately for us, we've got Zuby now. We've had him now. This is his third year. Sadiku is third year. We've got a decent nucleus, but you're right. The toughest thing's going to be in the summer, getting everybody to gel, getting everybody to understand that the name on the front is much more important than the name on the back.
Now you have so much more career in your rearview mirror because you've done this 50 years. The success that you had in your hometown, did you appreciate it more than the other great times in your career?
Much more, because I know my window's closing. I'm going to be 73. God has blessed me with the health to be able to coach. So I realize every time I walk out on that Madison Square Garden floor and I feel those goosebumps, no different than '87 with the New York Knicks, I know that I'm not always going to have this lucky blessing and opportunity of coaching in Madison Square Garden. So I appreciate almost every single day.
Now, growing up a Knicks fan, I never, ever understood why you left. I thought you could have done great things with the Knicks if you stayed. Do you ever second guess that?
You know, we had it rolling, and God rest his soul, Al Bianchi. He really wanted. Sonny Werblin at that time was hiring, whether it's Esposito or Michel Bergeron, they were hiring the coach and the general manager simultaneously. The general manager should pick the coach, and Al didn't get a chance to pick me. He wanted John McLeod. He wanted to play like the bad boys in the Detroit Pistons, and we were running and pressing and shooting a lot of threes. So, different style, but I felt that it wasn't going to work because the general manager did not like our style of play.
Well, again, where we started, that job's open again, Rick.
Yeah, I think I can last about 35 games.
That's Rick Pitino. Great season, St. John's. Expecting more of the same. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Guardians lead 3-0. Cody Bellinger will lead off against Luis Ortiz. So he said, no way, absolutely not, Paul.
You know, there wasn't even a hesitation either. Right? It was, I think he knew what question you were going to ask when you said that.
Well, if you're going to let go of Thibodeau and you want to make a splash with your next hire, Rick Pitino would be a splash. Jeff Van Gundy would be a splash. That doesn't mean that'd be the right hire. You could also bring in a guy that's never coached before, and that could be a perfect hire. Be interesting to see what they do. Fly ball. Left field. Kwan on the run. And he gets there. 3 Gold Gloves. And he puts it away for the first out.
It's hard to imagine when you look at Kwan, 3 Golden Gloves, and then you look out Jones leads the world and with arm assists in the outfield. You've got Ramirez, great defensive third base, but if you look at their numbers team-wise, not good. They're just right in the middle of the pack. They give away runs. They don't score a lot of runs. Their pitching has been better, especially late part of the game in their bullpen. But numbers just have not been great for the Indians, but they just, for the Guardians, they just battle.
Two 2-0 on Goldschmidt. He walked in the second inning. Yankees have 2 hits over the first 3 innings. We're 1 out into the bottom of the 4th. Jazz Chisholm Jr. on deck. Popped up foul. And that's out of play.
You think about how good Goldschmidt has been and how good his career been. You look back at 2011. He's got 1,215 career hits, which is second in the major leagues to Freddie Freeman. 1,271. And you know what? Freddie Freeman's a Hall of Famer on his way. So you know what? The numbers Goldschmidt has put up have been phenomenal.
And Goldschmidt and Freeman seem to be defying father time. I mean, you hear all these stories about first basemen don't age well. Well, these two are aging well. Three and two. And the Dodgers kind of lucked out with Freeman because I think Freeman wanted to return to Atlanta.
Wasn't there a big controversy that his agent didn't even tell him that he could have gone back to Atlanta, so he signed with LA, and then he was kind of like, I really wanted to be in Atlanta.
He loved Atlanta. Strike three, Goldschmidt down looking, but it's worked out in LA. Won the MVP of the World Series. Hey, the WNBA is back, and it's on Prime. The players you can't stop watching, making the plays you can't stop talking about. Don't miss the WNBA all season long. It's on Prime. Here's Chisholm. He struck out in the second inning. Oh and 1. Driven down the right field line, hooking foul.
Boy, Ortiz has been really good. It's getting the balls on the corner. You talk about his control issues so far. When he's missed, it's been with the breaking ball off the plate, but his fastball has got to go into both sides of the plate at 97, 98. Very hard to gauge how, he's had so many problems throughout the year.
So Naylor goes out, talks with Ortiz. 0-2 count on Chisholm. 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. 3-0 Guardians. One and two. Swing and a miss. 97 by Chisholm. And the Yankees go down in order against Ortiz. We're going to the 5th inning at the stadium. It's 3-0 Guardians. Back here at the stadium. It's a prime Wednesday night, and it's 3-0 Guardians. Schmidt struggled in the first inning. That's when the Guardians got their 3 runs. So far, it has held up. And Stephen Kwan will lead off the 5th. It'll be the top of the order for Cleveland against the Yankee right-hander.
By the way Ortiz is throwing the ball, this is another big inning for Clark Schmidt going into the 5th here. 71 pitches, but you're turning the lineup over. You've got Kwan, Martinez, and Ramirez coming up. So again, the way Ortiz is throwing the baseball, you can't afford to give up any more.
Kwan has walked and singled. Scored the first run of the game on the Angel Martinez home run. Grounded to second, moving to the glove side, LeMahieu, and he gets Kwan for out number 1. Well, it was a slow start for Schmidt. 4 of the first 6 batters reached, 3 of them scored, and now he has retired 12 of the last 13, including 6 strikeouts. But sometimes a slow start can cost you a game.
Well, you just got to hope, if you're Clark Schmidt, that your offense is going to get to Ortiz at some point.
Grounded to first. Goldschmidt takes it himself, beats Martinez to the bag. 2 down. Well, he'd like a nice economic inning here after the 26 in the first, kind of put him behind the 8 ball.
That's the pitch he needs called on Ramirez, and that's a good cutter right in on the inside corner. Didn't go his way.
And a strike. Foul ball.
You see Clark Schmidt's reaction after some of these pitches, just knowing that he does not have complete control at all times. That ball out over the middle of the plate, shaking your head as a pitcher when you know you got away with one because it wasn't a quality pitch.
Two and two, cutter high. Did he go? Yes, he did, said Manny Gonzalez. So Schmidt retires the Guardians in order. We're halfway through. It's 3-0 Cleveland. Well, this year marks Yogi Berra's 100th birthday, and the Yankees have a special giveaway to help commemorate it. On Friday, June 6th, first 18,000 guests received a special Yogi Berra U.S. Navy bobblehead that recognizes his military service, courtesy of State Farm. Tickets are going fast, so get your tickets today at Yankees.com. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Yankees been shut down against Ortiz. Be the bottom third of the order against Cleveland's right-hander. And a strike. You know, his problem is he doesn't throw strikes and walks a lot of people. Now he's walked 2, but he's been filling up the strike zone.
Did you see where Naylor was lined up on that pitch? It looked like Greg Maddux from the old days. It was like a foot outside. He made him run the ball back to the plate before he's lined up. And watch the movement all the way back.
Now, do you think he just missed?
Oh, he did. It was a breaking ball. I thought it was a two-seamer, but it was a breaking ball. He missed a lot, but he wanted to make sure that he saw that target off the plate away. He didn't want to leave it in. Like Volpe got a breaking ball yesterday that stayed out of the plate, and you saw what happened to it. It was part of that back-to-back home run.
Little bow tie there, the Yankee shortstop.
You can see with the movement that Ortiz has up and in, you're going to get this once in a while. It's not a comfortable at bat for righties.
Well, I would take a deep breath too after that happened. Two and two on Anthony.
Well, that's the pitch right there. He got a good pitch to hit, just fouled it off. And now you've given Ortiz, who's been very, very good tonight, an opportunity to make his pitch.
Grounded to third, backhanded by Ramirez. He throws to first and gets Volpe for out number 1.
We talk and talk and talk, but I mean, just watching in this series, I mean, Ramirez, it just, you can't emphasize enough how good a player he is all around as far as speed, power, defense, and it just kind of gets overlooked, Michael, because he's in Cleveland, Ohio. Huh?
Popped up. Naylor on the roof of the Yankee dugout. Yeah, I think wherever he plays, he'd be great, but he'd be much more celebrated in a bigger market. And maybe he's as great as he is because he's comfortable in Cleveland. Who knows if he was in a more high-profile situation, if he'd be as good. I think he would be.
And you look how relaxed he is in the dugout and just watching him play. I mean, one of those guys that has fun playing and knows he's good and just continues to go out and play well year after year.
I mean, when the count was ticking down on him becoming a free agent, he was good as gone. They were going to trade him. And then he went to them and said, listen, I'll take less money to stay here. And they said, really? And he got, well, then Cleveland, well, I don't know if they were Indians at that point, but they got a team-friendly deal. One and two on Wells, who lined out to first in the third. You wonder if the Yankees are thinking, hey, the numbers do not tell the story of the way Ortiz pitches, and maybe if they hang out long enough that it's going to revert back to that.
Well, you hope as a team, and you know that a lot of times you can face a pitcher, and you're right, the numbers just don't match. This guy's got nasty stuff. He's throwing the ball well, but all of a sudden, put a run on the board, put some some big at bats on him, and things can change when somebody doesn't have great confidence. Another good pitch right there, and then he's starting to really add the changeup in. Now, after starting the game with a lot of four-seam fastballs and the slider, now he's starting to add that changeup in also.
And look at what they've done against the slider. Not much. 5 strikeouts, 1 for 9. Right back to Ortiz to retire LeMahieu, and the Yankees go down in order. Ortiz has retired 7 straight Yankees. We go to the 6th. Well, tomorrow night, Yankees are back on Yes in the series finale against the Guardians here at the stadium. Coverage will begin at 6 with outing batting practice in the pregame, with first pitch scheduled for 7:05 on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. And remember, the rivalry returns on Yes this Friday as the Yankees battle the Red Sox for the first time this season. So a couple warnings for you, Paul. I hope you heed my advice. Friday, people are going to be heading out to the Hamptons, the Jersey Shore. They're giving the Yogi Berra bobblehead away. Yankees, Red Sox, so you got to leave early.
You told me to be here at 1. I mean, I thought we had a day game on Friday when you told me that.
No, you don't have to be here at 1. Leave at 1. That'll get you here about 3:30.
It's a happy Friday, though. Look at it that way.
I love it. I'm looking forward to that game.
At least we get to do the first game, right?
That's right.
Before they boot us out of the booth.
Hurtful.
Hurtful.
Line drive. It's a base hit to right field. Santana, a leadoff single here in the 6th against Schmidt.
Yeah, Santana overall a much better hitter left-handed this year. And, he has been hot lately. Cut fastball again. Sounded like a broken record, but did not quite get to the inside corner. Just to the barrel of the bat. Santana, no problem.
You know, Schmidt got into some trouble last year with the cut fastball, and the knuckle curve was kind of his savior this year.
Yeah, he's really not thrown his sinker tonight, and I still think that, you know, it's an important pitch for him to show a hitter, especially lefties, something going away instead of everything coming towards you.
Grounded to first. They'll get the force at second. Back to first with Schmidt covering, not in time.
Well, gutsy play by Goldschmidt because he was right in the throwing lane and he really didn't have time. Kind of got stuck in between hops to go way inside, just over Santana's head. Those are the ones, if you're Volpe, you know, you really don't have a chance. You know, why take the extra throw?
So here's Schneemann, runner on first with 1 out. We're in the 6th. 85 pitches for Schmidt. Check swing. Chop toward third. Chisholm fields, fires. The scoop by Goldschmidt, but not in time. Schneemann beats it out. That's a pretty nice play by Chisholm to even make that close.
Yeah, he's got such great arm strength that he can make a lot of plays close. But again, really not much of a play. You got to go that far, throw across your body. Somebody can get down the line.
You know, a lot of things about Goldschmidt impressed me, but his scoopage is unbelievable this year.
He's been so consistent. I mean, I don't think the Yankees even dreamed when they got him that he would come back offensively like he has. Defensively, he's always been good. Gold Glove winner. And a big part of what the Yankees, why they're in first place.
He's part of the mound visit by Matt Blake. Yankees do have action, as you saw earlier, in the bullpen, but they'd like to get Schmidt through this. Hedrick is the man up. Here's Gabriel Arias.
Yeah, he's thrown a couple sinkers this inning, which has raised the percentage, but you know, usually he's around 10%, and tonight he was only at 5. And I don't know if it was just a scouting report or if he did not feel comfortable with the sinker. But again, I think it's such an important pitch for him to mix in with that cut fastball.
Arias has struck out twice against Schmidt. Count 0-1. 0-2.
We've got back-to-back cutters, and you're in a great spot where he loves to use that big curveball off the plate away for a swing and a miss.
One and two. Manzardo at second. Schneemann's at first. One man out in the sixth. It's 3-0 Guardians. Yankees want to hold them right here. Foul back. Ortiz really doesn't have to give Vogt all that much more. The Guardians bullpen, while not as good as it was last year, it's still a pretty stout bullpen.
Yeah, especially the last couple innings. I mean, obviously you've got Clase out there closing, who's kind of resurrected. He got off to a totally unfamiliar place for him, closing games. A good breaking ball there for a strikeout, but he's kind of turned things around.
Well, with 2 down and Naylor due up. Well, Boone's out of the dugout. He's going to call on Hedrick to go lefty-lefty. So Schmidt gives the Yankees 5 2/3. Struck out 8, walked 1, allowed 3. The 2 runners on base, his responsibility. He departs, and Hedrick's coming on. It's time to name that Yankee. People still talking about how easy yesterday was. 266, 914 hits, 71 home runs. He was a Yankee in 85 and 86. With the Indians from 78 to 84. And you see his other stops along the way.
Oakland and then Montreal. Huh?
Hedrick deals inside to Naylor. First and second, 2 outs. Allowed 3 runs on Saturday at the Dodgers. The Yankees gave up 18 runs that day.
That was an old-fashioned beating.
Popped up. Shallow left center. Right there is Grisham. So Hedrick comes on and does a good job. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left. This was the last pitch that Schmidt threw, striking out Arias. 3-0 Guardians. Bottom of the 6th inning here at the stadium. Yankees held to just 2 hits and no runs over the first 5. It'll be the top of the order. Grisham, Rice, and Judge against Ortiz, who has been dealing. Outside. 1-0.
You know, when you're down 3-0 early in the game and you're knocking on the door, getting base hits, you just feel like you're in the game. This seems like a 10-0 game right now, just because Ortiz has been that good. And the Yankees really have not been able to do anything offensively.
Now Tim Herron is warming up, one of 2 lefties in the bullpen for Stephen Vogt. (3-0). Grisham walked in the 3rd, struck out in the 1st. And a strike, taking all the way. And the righty deals way outside, so a leadoff walk for Grisham. Well, let's check out the T-Mobile coverage cam, and we have that cam on Luis Ortiz.
Well, Luis Ortiz has been really good tonight. We talk about his inconsistency over the year, but you see his stuff. A hard fastball, a good slider to Aaron Judge right there. Another one to Goldschmidt. He's had everything work and starting to work that changeup in too, but he came out of the chute in the 1st inning, throwing 97-98, and has not looked back.
Well, here's Ben Rice, who has one of the 2 Yankee hits. Judge in the 1st, Rice a single in the 3rd. Also hit the ball well in the 1st inning, a line drive that stayed up there for Stephen Kwan.
Yeah, Ben Rice is one of the few Yankees that have had good at bats both times up tonight. Line drive to right for a base hit, and as you spoke, Michael, a line drive to left to start the game off.
Ground ball. Ramirez takes it to second himself. Fires to first, not in time. He bounced it to Manzardo as Rice beats it out.
Well, Ramirez, a smart play. He was way over from 3rd base in a shift and knew because of the shift it was going to be hard to make the play. You see him go darting across the field thinking he can turn it himself. A bounce, not in time.
I think Stephen Vogt is going to challenge this.
Hey, New York, it's Ronnie. Cleveland's champion will save off first base.
We got a good view right here.
Well, they're going to win that challenge.
Yeah, I don't see a foot yet, Michael.
That's not a good sign. Bryce probably thinking, I don't see my foot.
Yeah, where'd it go? Is this trick photography?
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is out. Cleveland retained the challenge.
I was just kind of admiring the view there, Michael. The 3 players watching on the big screen, just unbelievable.
Our good buddy Tony Gambino with that shot, a cinematic shot at that.
Wow. I needed something like that.
Here's Aaron Judge.
You got a leadoff walk and a hard ground ball, and you got Aaron Judge on deck thinking, you know, you're one swing away with a base hit, and boom, a hard ground ball, double play. Now Aaron Judge up there, nobody on and 2 outs.
One and 2.
99. I mean, he has been something tonight. We went over the scouting report. They usually don't score him runs, but they scored him 3 early, and he has not looked back. Luis Ortiz has got his stuff tonight.
Grounded up the middle, and it squeaks through off the glove of Schneemann. Second base hit for Judge.
Again, because of the shift over to the shortstop, no play there. And Judge on base again. Looks like that's going to be it for Ortiz. So see Ramirez sprint to the mound, and that is a veteran. That's a guy that's having a tough year so far. Ortiz. Ramirez sprinted to the mound, telling him what a great job he did. Yankees still up when we get back.
It's madness in the Motor City as NASCAR on Prime heads to Michigan International Speedway, one of the fastest tracks in the Cup Series. Stream Michigan this Sunday and watch these drivers give it everything they've got. NASCAR, it's on Prime. Tim Herron comes on to face Bellinger. Last 14 games he struggled, and Bellinger actually hits lefties very well. Run on first, 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th. 3-0 Guardians. Ground ball. Grabbed there on the dive by Schneemann. And they get Bellinger by an eyelash. I'm sure the Yankees will decide whether or not to challenge.
I thought Bellinger got down the line pretty quick. We're going to see if there's going to be a challenge. That's close.
And they are going to challenge. I don't know if that's going to be an automatic overturn, Paul.
Yeah, it almost looked like a tie, but you know, tie goes to the runner.
New York is challenging the outlaw first base.
On the field, there's enough to overturn it.
No, I think he's safe now, but I don't know if it's enough. It's real close.
That is close. Very close.
I think it is the proverbial tie.
Yep. That's supposed to go to the runner, Mike.
But that's not a rule. That's a saying, but it's not a rule.
Doesn't count replay?
Because I think that the thinking is there's no way that it could be an actual tie.
Yeah.
See, right there.
That angle looked like he's safe, and the other angle looked like a tie.
Now that's a man cave. I'd come over your house and watch football there.
Can you imagine
After review, the tone of field stands. The runner is out. New York loses the challenge.
Yeah, that was too close to overturn. If the call was safe on the field, I don't think they would have overturned that. Well, the Yankees return to Prime next Wednesday to take on the Royals. Don't miss a minute of the Yankees beginning at 7, only on Prime. So the Yankees use their challenge, which is the smart time to use it, because after the 7th inning, you can just ask the umpires, can you take a look at that? You don't need the challenge. So we go to the 7th. Nolan Jones, the number 9 hitter, will lead off against Brent Hedrick. Check swing, foul ball.
You talk about a handle shot. Boy, that almost hit the tape.
Fernando Cruz heating up. Back off the IL. Line drive. It's a base hit in front of Judge. Leadoff single for Jones.
After a ball that almost hits you in the hands, and then you have the ability to just absolutely rope one to right field. Jones, a big, tall guy, kind of a long swing, but had no problem getting to that.
One of the 6 righties in the bullpen, Matt Festa. See if they can turn 2 on this. Quan's quick. There's one on the first. It's a double play.
A big double play right there. The Yankees, you were kind of knocking on the door last inning, and you just want to get back up to the plate. Now you're in the bullpen. Anthony Volpe, good transition. Easy play to DJ LeMahieu. Quan being jammed on this pitch, did not get out of the box very well.
There's Martinez from the right side. Shows bunt, takes up and away. We're in the top of the 7th, 2 outs, nobody on. Guardians with 3 runs in the first inning. That's still holding up. They lead the Yankees 3-0, the middle game of this 3-game set. That was the first time this year that Quan has grounded into a double play.
Yeah, like I said, he got jammed. As a hitter, when you get jammed, you know, you're not kind of coming through the ball and getting out of the box. So you just get out late, and you just cannot get to where you need to get to.
What? I still can't hear you.
It's great pictures tonight, Michael. We're doing great on the camera work, aren't we?
Amazing. Well, we have a great crew all around. Line to left field. Bellinger will make the play, and that'll do it in the 7th. No runs a hit. And because of the DP, nobody left. At the end of 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning stretch. Guardians 3, Yankees nothing, but we'll stay right here as they honor America in the Bronx.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you rise and remove your caps? And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate as the New York Yankees welcome an honored military guest. United States Air Force Staff Sergeant Ron Zampella from Watchung, New Jersey, who served during the Cold War. The Yankees say thank you, Ron, for your sacrifice and service to our nation. And now, please join us in singing along with Robert Merrill's rendition of God Bless America.
Now time for the 7th inning recap brought to you by Inspire. 3-8-0 for the Guardians, 0-3-0 for the Yankees. Ortiz went 5 2/3 strong innings. Martinez, the 2-run home run in the first. Clark Schmidt, 5 2/3 as well, gave up the 3 runs. And Aaron Judge with 2 of the Yankees' 3 hits. And Goldschmidt takes a strike. Hits so well against lefties, hitting .520.
1-1. Well, the Jazz on deck, I think it benefits Goldschmidt, where he's going to get an at bat against the lefty.
Fly ball center field. Martinez. One down. So here's Chisholm, struck out twice against Ortiz. Along with Chris Sheeran and Paul O'Neill, I'm Michael Kay. We thank you for spending part of your Wednesday evening with us here on Prime. Guardians lead 3-0. Middle game of this 3-game set. 1-1.
Well, if you notice this series, Jazz has seen a lot of breaking balls. He got a fastball yesterday, hit it for a home run. And everything else has been off speed. I don't think that they really want to challenge him with fastballs.
Slow roller. Naylor fields. And the ball mishandled by Manzardo, allowing Chisholm to reach. They had to hurry it because Chisholm was flying down the line.
Boy, any way to get something started. The sinker in off the plate, just right on his knuckles, but a tough throw for Naylor. They go in the air, I would imagine, or a base hit.
They have not yet made the call. Looked like he would have been out if the catch was made. And that's an E3. Pitch to Volpe. A strike. Herron had a 1.92 ERA last year. It's a 3.92 right now. Matt Festa continues the throw. Chisholm leads off first, helped by Manzardo. Grounded. Second base. There's one. And there's two to end the inning. 4-6-3. We'll go to the eighth. 3-0 Cleveland. To name that Yankee. Here are the clues. It's supposedly a tough one. I think I have this one, Paul.
Yeah.
Do you?
No, I don't.
How about Ron Hassey?
Ah, Ron Hassey. I wouldn't have got that. I would have got him in Oakland. I remember in Oakland.
Here he is hitting a home run. Packed house in the upper deck.
Wow, what happened?
Getting into it with Kirk Gibson in 1986. How about a little walk-off? Infield single with the bases loaded. That was in 1986, July 23rd. Ron Hassey. 297 with the Yankees. How about that? Won a world championship with the A's. And the only player to catch two perfect games. Len Barker and Martinez.
Len Barker. That's funny you say that. I remember coming home and actually watching that game. I was just watching the game. He was with the Indians then, right?
Yep.
Barker.
Fernando Cruz, his first appearance is coming off the IL. And that's actually Cleveland's last no-hitter. So this is the spot Cruz likes to be in. You can bury you with that splitter. 1-2 count. Line foul.
You see Sandy Alomar down there taking no chances, just getting down, not trying to catch it.
He could play. He was some player for the Indians.
There were two brothers that good at the game of baseball, huh? And their father also.
Did he go? Yes, he did. There's that splitter we talk about. And Ramirez down on strikes. So Hasse caught 2 perfect games. Here's the Barker one. And here's the Dennis Martinez one. I want to thank the guys over at MLB Vault for the great videos they provide. They love Name That Yankee.
I feel the pressure. Like, want to come in for a 6-game, 7-game series?
Yep.
I got 6 or 7 of these. Huh?
I'm going to let you in a little secret so you don't feel that bad.
Yeah?
There are guys on our staff that are on the air that cheat because they don't want to look like they don't know what they're doing.
See, at least we take it like a man. If you miss it, you miss it.
Yeah.
You know, if you flunk a test, you flunk a test. It's the way it is. Better luck next time.
No, I mean, Ron Hasse caught 2 perfect games. You played in 3 of them.
Yeah. Well, it's the luck of the draw, being on teams with good pitching, right?
Two and 2. Sigh of relief by Cruz. You know, when he went on the IL, you hear shoulder and you get a little nervous. You get a shot. He said it really hurt. His arm went dead. But he only stayed on the IL. The record was at 15 days, and he's back. He said he feels great. Been such a weapon for the Yanks. Swing and a miss. Santana down on strikes.
Wow.
Boy, his stuff is nasty.
Nasty split finger here. This is a fork ball, really. I mean, watch the knuckling on this, and it just dives. See ya.
Now Hunter Gaddis is heating up. So Cruz has now struck out Ramirez 2 times this year, and he doesn't strike out. He's also got Quan, another low strikeout guy. Bichette, Machado, Pasquantino, and Witt. Guys that don't swing and miss all that much, but it's hard not to miss that pitch. That one is driven to right field and deep. Going back, Judge on the track. See ya. A home run. He didn't miss that pitch. Manzota with his 11th home run of the year. It's 4-0 Cleveland.
Well, fastball right there. I mean, you're talking about his nasty split finger. You do have to mix in some fastballs, but you've got to locate him a little bit better. That ball right down the middle, 405 feet later. Another run on the board. This is just right down the middle. And early in the count, you can still, as a hitter, you know, look and kind of hunt that fastball. And if you get a good one, don't foul it back.
Here's Schneemann. And a strike. Grounded, foul.
He's right there, everything together. Like I said, Michael, slow motion makes it look so easy.
Looked like he closed his eyes on contact.
You'll see that with catchers every once in a while, right before, you know, a swing, and right before it goes in the glove, you'll see like a blink.
That one's out to right field in a blink. Played out there by Judge. He's going to fire to second. Schneemann going for 2. He'll make it. 3-hit night for Daniel Schneemann.
Schneemann had a big hit last night. Now a big night tonight. So, you know, we talked about the Cleveland offense really struggling, and they need a couple guys to help Ramirez. Schneemann might be one of them.
Three hits takes his average from 238 to 254. Probably not being in the lineup tomorrow against Max Fried, though. 10th hit for the Guardians. Arias swings and misses. Arias desperately wants to stay with one from the golden sombrero. He already has struck out 3 times. You ever remember striking out 4 times?
You know what? I was just going to ask James behind over here to see how many times I did it. I'm sure that it happened in my career, but those are the ones you kind of black out. You just don't even want to know.
I mean, you must have been a joy if it happened.
Hopefully, Mom had a good dinner that night or something, huh?
Golden sombrero for Arias as he strikes out 4 times. But an insurance run for the Guardians, a home run by Manzardo. It's 4-0 Cleveland. Well, let's take a look at the Spectrum exit velocity on the Manzardo home run. 104 miles per hour off the bat. Manzardo's 11th home run of the year, and it gives the Guardians a 4-0 lead. Wells, LeMahieu, and Grisham will come up here in the bottom of the 8th. The Yankees have been stymied so far.
Yeah, only 3 hits on the night, and really not a lot of opportunities. Ortiz was phenomenal. And now you're in the back end of this bullpen that's very tough for the Guardians.
Hunter Gaddis in. Deals blown away 1-0. We looked it up, Paul. You actually had 4 strikeout games, which I'm amazed at, because you were not a high strikeout guy.
I went back to Little League once Julian Spear. You know, it happens. When I was talking to James on one of them, it was in Seattle, and I remember getting a hit, and I hit it down the left field line, and all I could hear was Joe Torre in the dugout screaming, "Run!" because I was watching it, and it was just, I was so flustered from my first 4 at bats that I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, you were 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts, then a game-winning 2-run double on the 11th off of Heathcliff Slocum.
Heathcliff Slocum, remember him?
That was one of the great deals the Red Sox ever made. They traded Slocum for Varitek and Lowe. Doesn't make up for trading Babe, but it's still a good deal.
You're never going to live that one down, huh? So you get rid of Babe. I mean, it happened.
3-2 on Wells. Yankees need base runners.
Look at the graphics and the things we wouldn't have if they wouldn't have brought Babe to New York. Huh?
Right. And we'd have nobody to compare Judge to.
Exactly.
High pop-up, right side. Schneemann called off. by Jones. One down. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. So here is LeMahieu. 0 for 2, but 5 for his last 10. Struck out looking and tapped back to the mound. Gaddis had a 1.57 ERA last season. This year he comes into this game with a 1.14. Grounded softly to short. But he's always going to be in Yankee lore because in Game 5 of the ALCS last year, and what was such a memorable at bat, Juan Soto took him deep in the 10th inning, and that helped the Yankees win the pennant and go to the World Series. Oh, we're going to look at it. That was such an unbelievable at bat.
Yeah, it was a fun series. I mean, it looks so one-sided when you look at the games, but those were close games.
Mm-hmm. Gaddis has a very simple mantra. Don't think, throw hard.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's the best thing.
27 years old. Fourth big league season. So 0-2 on Grisham. Grisham has walked twice and struck out. Rice is on deck. Gaddis sets and deals. Lays up the changeup. Grisham does 2-2. Another changeup. This one high in the count 3-2.
That mantra?
Don't think, throw hard.
He's throwing back-to-back-to-back changeups.
Thinking.
He's thinking too much.
Lined right at Manzardo, and the Yankees go down in order against Gaddis. And we'll go to the 9th inning. Guardians 4, Yankees nothing. Well, here's a look at the Yankees' upcoming schedule brought to you by Dietz and Watson. These two teams go at it again tomorrow. That game will be on Yes. Friday's on Yes against the Red Sox, and then Fox on Saturday night and ESPN on Sunday. Then the Yankees hit the road, Kansas City, and then Boston. Tomorrow's probables: Slade Ciccone against Max Fried. Coverage begins at 6 on Yes. Fried will try to bounce back from his one bad start so far this year. That was against the Dodgers.
Got a little marked baseball there. I guess you can check out the spin. Practice ball.
Tim Hill comes on for the Yankees, and looks like he's having trouble with the pitch count.
Throwing the ball that well, you just hold that ball all day. It's just been so good to you. Huh?
He's been great.
He really has.
The top two in the Yankee rotation have been money. Rodon yesterday continuing to pitch great, and obviously Max Fried. If the All-Star game was tomorrow, they'd both be in it.
Absolutely.
Noel pinch hitting for Naylor. Fouled away. We're in the 9th inning. It's 4-0 Guardians. They scored 3 in the first and 1 in the 8th. 10 hits. Yankees 3 hits and no runs. Pinch hit single at the middle for John Kenzie Noel.
Well, that's what Hill does. He gets ground balls. And, every once in a while, ground balls find holes. But, you know, he did his job. Little sinker, which causes the hitter to hit the top half of the ball. That's why that ball sinking, you get a ton of ground balls.
Festa continues to throw, and Clase, it's not a save situation. David Fry pinch hitting for Nolan Jones. I told you they have 4 righties in the ball on the dugout, or in the dugout on the bench. Since Naylor got pinch hit for, they're going to use Austin Hedges. That will leave Will Wilson. Fly ball into left center. Good jump by Grisham. He makes the basket catch for the first out.
I think it makes it look easy.
He really does. You ever go basket?
Yeah, once in a while, unintentionally though. It's like when I had a jab at it or something. I was afraid to be that smooth and cool out there. I might boot it.
Stephen Kwan takes a strike. Line drive. It's a base hit to left field. Kind of inside out of that ball. Bellinger will get it in. Second hit for Kwan.
We've continued to talk about Kwan. You know, if it's inside, he'll pull it. If he's jammed, he'll go the other way or take a lefty the other way. He is just a contact hitter with speed. Knows how to hit. Knows what to do with certain pitches. That ball away, you try to pull it, you do nothing but ground out to the second baseman. Great piece of hitting.
And Martinez tries to bunt, fouls it off. Rice, Judge, and Bellinger coming up in the bottom of the 9th. One and one. Fouls it off, 1-2.
You look back at that first inning. Martinez had the big blow, the big 2-run homer. And a cut fastball from Clark Schmidt that did not cut to the inner half.
And he swings and misses, tipped into the glove of Wells for the second out. And now they have to deal with Ramirez.
Look at Ramirez. We talk about him. We were talking yesterday about his splits. I mean, he's over his career been pretty much the same, but this year well over 400 hitting off left-handed pitching.
Pitch is high. Ramirez doubled in the first, extended his on-base streak to 30 straight. Santana on deck. First and second, 2 men out, trying to keep it right here at 4-0. Guardians have 12 hits to the Yankees 3. We're in the 9th. It's 431 against lefty pitching. Popped up. Goldschmidt will make the play in foul territory for the final out. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. Last licks coming up for the Yankees. Well, the Yankee offense has been dormant tonight. This is their last chance. They have 3 more outs to go to make up a 4-0 deficit. Those are the 3 that we'll see this inning. Rice, Judge, and Bellinger. The Yankees have managed his 3 hits, 2 singles by Judge, and a single by Rice. No extra base hits. They had a runner in scoring position in the 3rd. Judge struck out. And that was the only time they had a runner in scoring position. Now they'll try to do it against the Guardians closer, Emmanuel Clase.
Yeah, you line up sometimes and they just aren't having good at bats. Tonight is the case where the Guardians pitchers were good, very good. Ortiz got off to a great start and then added a few pitches along the way, and probably his best start of the year. So to this point, the Yankees have been shut down, and it's not that they didn't show up. They just faced quality pitching tonight to this point.
Well, he struggled early. First 11 games, he had a 7.84 ERA. Last 15 games, back to normal, 1.23. And he's converted his last 9 save chances. The 11 earned runs he's allowed are more than double the 5 he allowed in all of last season. 1-0 to Rice. The strange thing, Paul, even when he is like unhittable, the Yankees seem like they're able to get to him more than most. Averages over 99 miles an hour with the cutter. And his slider comes in at 90. In the regular season last year, Clase had a 0.61 ERA. But he gave a back-to-back home runs to Judge and Stanton in Game 3 of the ALCS, and then gave up the winning runs in Game 4 and took the loss.
I'm looking at the defense here. Have you ever seen a right fielder? Look at Noel, where he's playing. I mean, almost on the warning track. Not that actually moving him. He was almost down the line on the warning track. I mean, I've never seen that kind of position from a right fielder.
Well, they must think that Rice has a pretty quick bat that he would pull it down the line like that against a guy who throws 99.
Yeah, he moved over towards right center with 2 strikes, thinking that Ben Rice, obviously with 2 strikes, is going to be a little shorter and possibly go the other way.
Yankees have been shut out just once this season. That was April 8th at Detroit. Skubal started that game, won 6 innings. So they're tied for the fewest shutouts in Major League Baseball with Arizona and Boston. And Arizona and Boston have not had good starts of their season. So 3-2 on Rice. Broken back, ground ball. The play is made by Sneeman, and Rice beats it out.
Sneeman made a great effort there, but was not able to make a good throw. Zardo had to come off the bag, but I didn't think he was even going to have a play here. Came off the bag.
Well, they're going to take a look at this. Yeah. Did he come off the bag? That's the question, because the throw beat him.
It looks like that foot is pinned against the base. I don't know. Unless there's something we're missing. Right there, he is. He kind of.
Yeah, he is away. He's off the base. Rice had to suffer through a replay like this in the 6th inning when they turned a fielder's choice into a double play. So there was separation between first and the foot, but did he get back?
Looks like Rice's foot is on the base there, and he's not quite back to touching first base. So I agree with the call of the field.
After review, the call is confirmed. The runner is safe. Cleveland loses the challenge.
That's a good call by Corey Blazer, who was right there in great position. So including the postseason, Judge has just one hit against Clase. That was the home run. He's also walked 3 times. That's a base hit for Rice. 102-mile-an-hour cutter.
It's not fair. I think he broke the radar gun.
Wow.
The pitchers know when Aaron Judge gets to the plate. All of a sudden it goes to 102.
And then a 91-mile-an-hour slider. This is a tough sport.
Yeah.
The Yankees' only hits from the 2-3 spots in the order. 2 by Rice, 2 by Judge. And he got him with the slider. 1 down.
102 and then went back slider, slider, slider. Ended up with a good one. Very hard to dial down when you're looking for 102.
Ball received there by Hedges. Takes over for Naylor after Naylor got pinch hit for. Here's Bellinger. Sky to left field. On the run is Kwan toward the line. He's not going to get there. And it bounces into the seats for a double. A double for Bellinger.
Well, Kwan way over in left center field. Could not get to it. Bellinger puts it in play, and now all of a sudden tying run coming to the plate. Oh, 4 run, I'm sorry. We need 1 more, Mike. We got to fill up first base before we get that big grand slam.
Well, he couldn't have thrown that any better, Paul.
Yeah, that's, I mean, fortunate to be a hitter when the guy is playing that far over in the gap.
Here's Goldschmidt. 1-on-1 right by him. Obviously, the Guardians play the infield back. They'll give up that run at third to get the out. Goldschmidt this year with runners in scoring position, hitting .415. Second and third. Oh, 2 on Goldschmidt. Strike 3. Down looking. Yankees down to their final out.
Again, it's the cutter, and it's 100 plus at 101. You just don't have time to react as a hitter to any kind of movement on a pitch that hard.
So here's Chisholm. 0-1. And the backswing got Hedges.
Clase does not have the movement on his cutter that Mariano had, but to put into perspective, Mariano was, what, 95, 96 at his best with a ton of movement, where Clase was 102 tonight.
Yankees down to their final strike. Chisholm 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts today. Reached on an error in the 7th by the first baseman. Foul ball. Second and third, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, 4-0 Guardians. This must not be a comfortable at bat.
Oh, you know, much more for a lefty, obviously, than a righty. But still, I mean, a guy that can get it up there at 102 to 103 at times, and then has a good slider.
Swing and a miss on the slider, and that'll do it. Yankees get shut out for only the second time this year in the ninth inning. 2 hits. They leave those hitters on base, and this is the final out.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking for that cutter at high velocity, that slider has the same spin, but about 10 miles an hour slower. Just good pitching tonight by the Guardians to shut the Yankee offense down. Max Fried tomorrow, try to take this series.
Now it's time for the player of the game presented by Snickers.
You go back all the way to the first pitch. Ortiz had his stuff working, threw hard early, mixed in a lot of sliders and changeups a little bit later. By far his best outing of the year. It's a player of the game.
All right, here's our broke down. 4-12-1 for the Guardians, 0-5-0 for the Yanks. It took 2 hours and 38 minutes. Ortiz, his third win. Schmidt took his third loss. Ortiz went 5 2/3, and Schmidt allowed 3 runs all in the first inning, and that was the game. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director Dan Barr, Mike Webb, and the executive producer Jared Ames Bosnack. Don't forget to join us again on Wednesday, June 11th, as the Yankees face off against the Royals at Kauffman Stadium. Coverage begins at 7 on Prime, with first pitch coming just after 7:30. For more coverage of tonight's game, tune into the YES Network for the WB Mason postgame show. Once again, the final score, the Cleveland Guardians 4 and the New York Yankees 0. For Paul O'Neill and Chris Sheeran, I'm Michael Kay saying see ya from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Again, the Guardians beat the Yankees 4-0. Have a good night, everybody. So long.
Network studio for the WB Mason postgame show. I'm Meredith Morakovitz alongside Todd Frazier and Jack Curry. Guys, the Yankees lose a tough one at the stadium tonight, dropping this one 4-0. Just the second time they've been shut out this season. And that brings us to the Hyundai opening comment. And Todd, the offense just couldn't get going tonight.
Yeah, the Guardians put a clinic on right now, if you want the truth. Ortiz came in and absolutely dominated. And it was that big first inning. Clark Schmidt came in there looking like he was going to be the Clark Schmidt of old. Got that first batter up, Quan, with the walk. It was 7-8 pitch at bat, and then things started rolling from there. It was a huge first inning, and that's really all the Guardians needed, and that's what they do. They get on them early and often, and the bats, nothing there.
It's rare when you could say that a game is decided in the first inning, and the Yankees had opportunities, but this game really was decided in the first inning. Todd mentioned it already. We did not see Schmidt have the great cutter or the great curve in that inning. He gave up a 2-run homer off a cutter, and I think as the game evolved, we saw Ortiz just have a great sinker, great slider. Yankees 1 for 14 against those 2 pitches. They didn't have a runner reach third base against Ortiz, so their vaunted offense, which has been so good this season, absent tonight.
And Ortiz had not had success against the Yankees in his career. We will get to that in just a second, but first, let's take a look at Clark Schmidt's night. You mentioned that first inning, top of the first, after a leadoff walk to Stephen Kwan. Todd, this is not what Clark Schmidt wants to do to start things off.
Yeah, here's a flat cutter right there. You look at that pitch, a lefty is dying for that ball right there. Any day of the week, he's going to hit it hard. And again, that ball was crushed. 2-0 right off the bat.
Next up is going to be Jose Ramirez. He rips the cutter to right. It'll go up against the wall. Aaron Judge will track it down. Ramirez hustles into second with the double right there. Then it'll be a couple batters later. Ramirez on third, 2 outs. And Todd Schneeman lines it to right. He reaches the wall, and Ramirez would score on that one easily. So the Guardians are up 3-0, and that brings us to our Prevagen memorable moments presented by Prevagen, made for your brain.
Yeah, Meredith's top of the second now. Naylor is at the plate leading off, and Schmidt found his stuff in this inning. We're going to see that cutter come back, and he's able to get Naylor with the whiff. Next up is Nolan Jones. This is a 9-pitch at bat that he wins by throwing that knuckle curve under Jones's hands. 2 batters later, Martinez, who victimized him in the first, Todd, he gets him on a sweeper right there.
Yeah, it looked like he fell into a good little zone there after the first inning, and his pitches were a lot more effective after that.
Top of the fifth, Ramirez back up. Schmidt gets him to check his swing. That'd be a called strike 3. That ends the inning.
Runners on first and second here in the 6th. He strikes out Arias for the 3rd time. And, guys, that was his final batter. Hedrick came in. He ended up going 5 2/3. He bounced back nicely. You see that first inning, though, it was a killer. Look at what he did from the 2nd to the 6th. Struck out 7, didn't walk any batters. But I know from having had numerous conversations with Andy Pettitte, Todd, this is a guy who won more than 250 Major League games. He said every game he was tense about that first inning. He said, if I got through that first inning, I would exhale. Schmidt didn't get the chance to get through that first inning.
It seemed like every pitch he threw right there was pretty much flat, whether it was the cutter or the sweeper. We didn't know what to expect. Those guys took off in the first inning, and guess what? 3 runs is all they needed.
You mentioned that the sweeper had been so big for him this season so far, the curveball as well. What did he do to get that breaking stuff back on track, Todd?
Well, I think he focused a little bit, and like you say, he exhaled a little bit and understood, okay, let me breathe a little bit, let me hit my spots. And I think in that first inning as well, Jack, he wasn't hitting the outside part of the zone, so he wasn't getting that strike call. And when he finally did, you saw he came into his own.
Well, Luis Ortiz was facing the Yankees for the 4th time in his career. He was 0-3 in his prior outings, but all that changed tonight in the bottom of the 2nd. Jazz Chisholm Jr. at the plate for the Yankees right here. He would go down swinging on the sliders for the strikeout.
Volpe steps in next, runner on first. Little shot to third. They're going to turn this into a 5-4-3 double play. The Guardians can play some defense. We saw that tonight. DJ LeMahieu stares at a slider on the outside corner, bottom of the 4th. Full count to Goldschmidt. And Todd, he goes down looking. It was just a banner night for Ortiz.
Yeah, and when that slider was working well, it was the backup slider. And again, the sinker in the low 90s. He was reaching up to 98 miles an hour on that fastball. It had a rise action, and that's very hard to hit.
When you have a fastball like that and the slider is working like that, what can you do in the batter's box, Todd, as a hitter?
Well, you got to pick a pitch. You have to pick one pitch, and you got to go with it until you get to 2 strikes. And you got to understand, listen, if I'm sticking with that fastball, I got to be okay with the slider going right down the plate.
Yeah, he did a great job of mixing in sinker slider. I mean, he's got a fastball as well, and he showcased other pitches. But sometimes you hear sinker slider, and you think of a crafty guy coming out of the bullpen, and he's kind of throwing a sloppy slider and a sinker that's trying to fool people. Ortiz was going after people with his stuff tonight. And Meredith, you mentioned it earlier, the numbers against the Yankees in his career. Tonight, he's the one who gets the smile.
Hey, guys, we have plenty more to break down here on the WB Mason postgame show. But for now, we are going to take a quick step aside. When we get back, we will hear from the manager, Aaron Boone, right here on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
The Yankees postgame show on Yes is presented by WB Mason. Get fast free delivery of food service products you need at prices you'll love. Request your free catalog today at WBMason.com.
Tonight after the postgame, stay tuned for an all-new episode of The Story of My Number featuring Basketball Hall of Famer Vince Carter as the legendary New Jersey Nets shares the numbers that shaped his career. Catch the premiere presented by the New York Lottery tonight after we wrap things up on the postgame here on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Welcome back once more on the WB Mason postgame show. It is time now for the Toyota's Manager's Report. We head back to the stadium where Chris Sheeran is standing by with Aaron Boone.
Aaron, Clark finished really strong, but what did you see in that first inning from him?
Ahead of Quan and then walks him, and then just looked like a cutter down middle that Martinez jumped on, put a good swing on. And I think he tried to go four-seam up and away, and Ramirez was able to hook him in the corner, and then probably, I think, got too much of the play with the breaking ball to Schneemann, and 3 runs are on the board. But you're right, he settled in, threw the ball pretty well from there. What do you have, 8 strikeouts, I think. So, I mean, he got into the 6th inning, the 3 runs there. We just didn't mount much offensively tonight.
What made Ortiz to that point so effective?
Yeah, I mean, he's got good stuff. It's good arm, sinker, and four-seam. But, the slider looked like it was kind of backing up some, and then it would be that sharp one, too. So he kind of kept us at bay, and, we really didn't sting the ball much off him at all. We had a couple chances that, we weren't able to cash in, and he kept us in the ballpark. So, pretty slow night for us offensively.
How did it go with Jason Dominguez before the game with his swings?
Good. Good. Yeah, he should be good to go.
Who else? Mark, Max.
Just in general, what do you think of Cruz in his first time off?
I thought Cruz was really good. I told him so too. You know, obviously he gave up the homer, so you know where Manzardo got him and kind of ambushed him a little bit. But I thought stuff was really good. I thought the fastball was good, and you know, tally up 3 more of the worst swings I've seen off the forkball or whatever. So, you know, good to get him back in there. And I thought his stuff resembled who he is, and actually thought he was pretty sharp. You know, Manzardo just got him with a good swing on a fastball, but it was good to see him get back out there. You know, reasonable pitch count. You know, so hopefully on his way again.
Max.
What do you like most about how Rice is swinging the bat lately, where a lot of the outs are also hard hit balls?
Yeah, I mean, last night he smoked 2 balls to the shortstop there, where we're building innings where, you know, those get through. I think we you know, put some big numbers on the board last night. You know, tonight smokes the ball to left his first time. I mean, that's all you can do is, you know, we'll sign up for that. If he's controlling the strike zone and continuing to hit the ball hard, you know, he's in a good spot.
Brian.
With Clark, was there an adjustment you saw him make after that first inning?
I don't know. I mean, not really, because I still think he stayed true to his stuff. You know, curveball, cutter, threw some more 4-seamers in there tonight. You know, with all the lefties, you know, and them kind of selling out to everything coming at him. You know, to have a little more presence. You know, the curveball helps a little bit, and the 4-seamer helps him a little bit. I think mixing in that enough allowed him to really settle in.
Anyone else? Over here on the right.
What would you attribute the cold bats to tonight? I mean, what do you think? Was it Cleveland's pitching, or the guys not seeing the ball well?
Baseball. I mean, you know. Yeah, I thought we got pitched pretty tough. You know, we just didn't have a great night. I mean, it happens in the 162. So get another opportunity to go win a series tomorrow.
Thank you, Aaron.
Guys, certainly a tough night for the offense. Just 5 hits managed throughout the course of 9 innings. You heard Aaron Boone say, hey, that's baseball. Sometimes you just don't get it going. But, Todd, incredibly rare to see this offense shut down.
Yeah, not many people got on base. Jack alluded to this earlier. There was one person that got to third base, and that was in the 9th inning, and then 2 back-to-back strikeouts. 3 double plays, that's hard to do, too, as well, to win games, and that's the unfortunate part for the Yankees. Again, Booney did say, it is baseball at the end of the day. You're not going to hit all the time, and when they needed the hits, they didn't get them.
Yeah, good pitching beats good hitting, right? We always hear that. And Ortiz pitched well tonight and had an arsenal that was able to slow the Yankees down. And listen, he was on the mound for 6 innings. The Yankees had at least 1 base runner in 4 of those innings, and he shut them down. You try to think of any idea of when they had a rally. Todd mentioned the double plays. There was a play where Bellinger almost beat out a ground ball to first base, and the Yankees challenged it and didn't win the challenge. That would have amounted to a rally there. They just were unable to do anything against a pitcher who came into the game with an ERA of almost 6 against them.
Guys, we're going to take another quick break here on the WB Mason postgame show. When we get back, we will hear from some of the guys in the clubhouse on what made that Cleveland Guardians pitching so tough, and we'll break down that guy's night. Aaron Judge with 2 hits, but not enough for the Yankees to strike.
The Yankees postgame show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Kia dealers. Visit Kia.com to discover movement that inspires.
Fans, remember the series finale with the Guardians is tomorrow on Yes. Then Friday night, the rivalry is back as the Yankees and Red Sox kick off a 3-game set in the Bronx. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock with a special all-access batting practice show. Hey, guys, I host that one. Tune in. And the pregame before first pitch on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Speaking of first pitches, let's take a look at this. Rick Pitino was in the house tonight, and now Todd and Jack, I know you both have a little experience with throwing out the first pitch. It is not the easiest thing in the world, so what did you think of Pitino?
Jack, what do you think, man? I felt like his was a little better than yours right there.
Oh, come on.
I'm just saying. For me, I threw a strike, the one I did. I had a little zip on it, too, in Cincinnati. Let's talk about yours.
No, we're not. People care about Rick Pitino more than they care about me. So I'm going to address Meredith's question. I'm going to get to your question. I'm going to evaluate Pitino first. First of all, he mentioned to Paul and Michael, 73 years old. So to get up there and to be able to do that, he didn't go all the way to the rubber, but we'll give him a pass for making it all the way in. This is a guy who's won more than 1,000 games in his career, college and the NBA. He's a Hall of Famer as well. Now, that's addressing what Meredith asked. Addressing what you asked, I've done it twice. One time, I skipped it. I gave a 59-footer. Okay. I was out there with Coney. CC Sabathia gave us some grief. I let it get in my head. The other time, I made it on a fly.
Well, usually you only need one try, but that's okay. Hey, listen, Pitino opened up a little bit on that throw there, as we saw. If he can get on top, maybe a little more downward tilt, little analytical stuff. Maybe I'm looking too into it.
You had the zip. You gave him a zing, but you did redeem yourself, so I love that. Hey, speaking of the Yankees and their lack of offense tonight, one guy did have 2 hits, and that is Aaron Judge. Todd, take us through how Luis Ortiz tried to attack Aaron Judge tonight.
Yeah, I think he did phenomenal. Even though he gave up 2 hits, let's break all these at-bats down here. First at-bat, it's an inside fastball at 99. Now, it was middle cut, okay? Those pitches you can get to if you can get jammed. If you're Aaron Judge, you can find a way to hit. I want to take a deep dive into this second at-bat. I thought this was absolutely clockwork from Ortiz. He said, you know what? If you can hit that right here, I'm going to try and go back in there a little more, maybe jam you more. Perfect pitch. He's not going to swing at that. It's about 8 inches off the plate. He said, you know what? Let me go a little higher above the belt there. Perfect spot for him. That's a hard pitch to get to, right on the inner half. And he said, you know what? Simultaneous, I'm going right back in there. If you can't hit it once, you're not going to hit it twice. Let me change the eye level here to go a little more away and down. Judge saw that one. That's a good pitch. Now from seeing those 2 fastballs in, this looks like a heater. Back up slider. It took Judge off for a second. And guess what? The good hitters are going to be fooled on those sometimes as well. Great job. And then right here, I don't know why he threw this one, a changeup. That was kind of silly if you want the truth. I would have went right back up there with the 2 fastballs, sinkers at 98, 99. Judge says, all right, fine, I'll take it. Single, he'll take those 2 at-bats and those 2 hits. But a great second time there for him and Ortiz.
And here's what Ortiz has done in 4 career starts against the Yankees. Jack, we talked about it. First 3, not very good. Tonight, totally different story.
Yeah, he was a different pitcher tonight against the Yankees. We've talked about the arsenal that he was able to employ. I love Todd's breakdown there. And getting back to Judge real quick, he had 1 more at-bat in the 9th inning against Clase, and you got a guy who's throwing 102-mile-per-hour cutters. He drops a slider in there for a K, but Judge ends the night hitting 389. He also has 21 home runs. The only other major leaguer to play a team's first 60 games and be hitting at least 380 with 20 or more home runs, Mickey Mantle in 1956. So again, Judge just putting himself in the same breath as all these luminaries.
Always impressive. Hey, we're going to take another quick step aside here on the WB Mason post-game show. Plenty more to talk about when we return. Again, Yankees lose this one 4-0 to the Guardians. Guardians evening up the series finale tomorrow in the Bronx.
The Yankees post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Learn more at genesis.com.
Time now for the turning point of the game, brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. And Jack, it's rare, but it happens. This one came in the top of the first.
Yeah, after a leadoff walk to Kwan, it's going to be a first pitch cutter to Angel Martinez, and he hammers it over the right field fence. 2-run shot for his 4th of the season. When a pitcher walks a batter in an extended battle, as Schmidt did with Kwan, if you're the next hitter, Go up there looking for that first pitch. That's what Martinez did, and he capitalized.
Gave up 3 in that first inning, but really did settle in, gave his team an opportunity to win the game. But as we have noted, the offense just not there. But Todd, what do you think of the overall pitch mix for Schmidt tonight?
I thought it was okay, to be honest with you. I thought one of the problems was in that first inning, it was flat. The cutter was flat, and the knuckle curve, Jack, that was very hard pitch to hit, and today it was really easy to hit. It's just got to get in that fluid motion going back and forth and settling in. You saw after a couple pitches, he was like, you know, he's got that shrugging of the shoulders going around the mound, confused on foul balls. It's going to happen. Focus on what you can control, and that's getting better pitches.
Schmidt's a very available player, so I'm sure at some point we will get post-game sound from him. And one of the questions that I hope is asked is, how did he feel about his stuff coming out of the bullpen? Because that first inning was a struggle for him. And sometimes pitchers can see that coming, and sometimes they can't see it coming. But there definitely was a difference in the sharpness and the crispness of his pitches from the first inning and then from every inning after that.
Jack, plenty more to come here on the WB Mason post-game show, including some of that player sound. But for now, we're going to take a quick break. We will be back in just a bit.
Post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Hyundai dealers. There's never been a better time to test drive that Hyundai you've always wanted. Visit HyundaiUSA.com today.
And a fly down the right field line. That one heading toward the stands. And that's going to be a fair ball. And that ball is gone. It's out of here. He tucked it in there. And he walks it off. Cedar Rafaela with a home run. A 2-run shot. And the Red Sox steal a win here. They'll take it. They will take it.
Driven to deep left center field. On his horse is Hernandez, and he's not going to get there. A ground rule double, 2-0 Colorado. And this ball lined to left, and it is fair. Sanchez to third. He's going to get a green light. And the throw to the plate is got it. Out at the plate. What a relay by the Rockies. 2-2. And it should be an easy play for McMahon. It is. Yes. The Rockies win it 3-2. They have swept the Marlins. The last time the Rockies had a sweep on the road was last May in San Diego.
Out to right center field. That's well hit. Going back on it is Lucas. It is gone. Opposite field home run for Castellanos. Fly ball, left center field, pretty well hit. Going out on it is Marsh. He can't get it. Lorano score. Bichette's on his way to third, and he will get there. Fly ball, right center field. Rojas going back, and this is going to do it. Off the wall. It's an RBI for Alejandro Kirk that has given the Blue Jays a 2-1 victory.
And those were tonight's highlights presented by Ford. Guys, this is crazy that we are at this point in time in the season, but all-star voting is now open. I am not a betting woman. You didn't ask, but I'm telling you. But I think if there is a safe bet, it's that Aaron Judge has a pretty good shot of being named an all-star this year.
Aaron Judge will be starting in that game. He'll be hitting somewhere second, third, or fourth, wherever they decide to hit him. That's the easy one, Meredith. You took the layup. I'm going to take the 10-foot jumper from right in front of the free throw line. Todd doesn't think I can make the free throw, so I'm going to go with Paul Goldschmidt. You look at what he has been able to do in the American League. I think Paul Goldschmidt deserves to be an all-star.
Trent Grisham, it's his time. They said it this year. Aaron Boone gave him his time. It's time to play more. He's gone out there and dominated. His power numbers have been really good. This guy deserves to be an all-star, maybe even talks of a starter. I don't know.
Guys, great choices, and we'll see how many representatives they do wind up having. But we have to mention some of the starting pitching.
I was about to say, don't go to commercial. Don't go. Yes, Max Fried, Carlos Rodon. And I'm sorry to jump in here, but he missed the layup. He should have taken Fried as the layup. Luke Weaver. You know, going on the IL, Luke Weaver, before the injury, to me, he was also an all-star. He's been the best closer, best reliever in the American League. We'll see how long he ends up on the IL, guys, but that may impact his ability to pitch in the All-Star game.
Think about this, and you can put him in first, second, third, fourth inning. How many lefties? Tarek Skubal, Garrett Crochet, Max Fried, Carlos Rodon. I mean, lefties, plethora of them. Booney's got a tough choice to make.
Definitely a crop of lefties that will be in there this year. Any final thoughts on tonight's game, Jack?
You look back to last October, and the Yankees took Cleveland out in the ALCS. They beat them in 5 games. And though it's still early in the season, it's game 60, you're always sizing up teams that you think you might play in October. The Yankees just had that series against the Dodgers where, as frightfully early as it is, I think it was important that they won that game on Sunday. To leave L.A. with a taste in their mouth that, hey, you can go head-to-head with these guys. I think the same way about Cleveland. Right now they lead the wild card. Detroit leads the Central. But, Todd, you could easily see the Yankees and the Guardians on some sort of collision course in October again.
Without a doubt. You say it's early. I think every game counts here, man. I'm not saying you need to sweep every team, but at the same time, you got to find a way to win these games, and it was a close game to win. Hitting wasn't there. Yankees will be fine, but ultimately find a way to win these close games, because you'll look back and be like, we could have, should have, would have.
And they still have an opportunity to win the series tomorrow. We're going to take one more break here on the WB Mason post-game show. More when we come back. That guy, Max Fried, on the mound tomorrow. Yankees have to feel pretty good when that happens. He will try to bounce back after a rough one in L.A., but if history is any indication, Max Fried will be just fine on the mound. And Clark Schmidt took the ball for the Yankees to start this one off tonight. He would take the loss, did not get any run support. He last 5 2/3, allowing 7 hits, 3 runs. All those runs coming in the first inning. He did go on to strike out 8 and really settle down through 91 pitches through 5 2/3. It's now time to hear from Clark Schmidt in our Genesis Sounds of the Game.
Clark, you finished the game strong. Just what happened in that first inning?
Yeah, I felt like they had a good approach, especially in the first. I think the name of the outing was, first AB walking Quan, and then got ambushed the next, trying to throw a strike and get right back into the counts and just put a good swing on it, hit a homer, and then the rest was history. I think after that we made some really good adjustments, though. Felt like we bounced back well, threw a lot of strikes, getting a lot of swing and miss, so I was happy with that, getting into the 6th.
What were some of the adjustments you made?
I think it was pretty obvious in the first that they were trying to hunt the cutter in, the sweepers in, the curveballs in, and they were putting really good swings on it, so credit to them. And, I faced them a good bit of time, so, really good approach from those guys, especially at the top of the order. And I think, after that, it was like, all right, how can we get the ball away from them, throw a few more fastballs away, and felt like we were getting to good areas after that.
There were 8 lefties in the lineup. Is there a reason why you stayed away? Only threw 5 two-seamers.
I think, I think my bread and butter and my strengths are, I think sometimes those pitches get registered wrong. I think, I threw a lot of 4-seams tonight that were getting registered as cutters, and so I wouldn't hang my hat on exactly the usage yet until it gets filtered out. But I think, early on we stuck with my strengths, the cutters, the curveballs, and a few sweepers here and there. And after that, we saw what they were trying to do, so we made some adjustments, staying away with the 4-seams and the cutters, and even some 2-seams, and got a lot of quick outs with the 2-seams, so I was happy with that.
When something like that happens, how do you find out that an adjustment needs to be made? Is it just what you saw, or do you go back and watch video, or what?
Yeah, I mean, pretty obviously when you're getting banged around like that in the first, it's pretty glaring. So I think, it's kind of like walking a tightrope. It's like, are you making bad pitches, or is it their approach? So for me, it was kind of obvious that it was approach. I felt like I was making good pitches and my stuff was really crisp. And so, you just try to find out what they're trying to do to you. And, I felt like we did a really good job of that.
Throw 4-seamers. What does that pitch for you? What does that pitch do for you when you do implement that?
Yeah, I think this has been a pitch that we've been kind of working on and fiddling with, and over the course of this year, and so I'm really happy with where it's been. And it doesn't always get registered as a 4-seam up there, so I feel like the usage of it is messed up a little bit. But I think for me, it just gets guys off the cutter, especially the lefties, and it can be effective as righties as well for some swing and miss at the top of the zone, especially when guys are hunting my breaking ball package. So just another wrench to have in the armor. I think when you can kind of mix up usages and get guys off certain pitches that they're obviously sitting on, I think that's when you find success.
Well, the Yankees will try to turn the page quickly, and that brings us to tomorrow's probables. It's going to be Slade Ciccone for the Guardians, opposed by Max Fried. And, Jack, what does Fried need to do to get back on track? That outing against the Dodgers, really the first time all season we've seen him struggle at all with command.
Yeah, the Dodgers have a relentless lineup. I think they made Fried work in that game, and I don't think Fried had the greatest stuff that we've seen him have this season. I will say this, within his comments there, Schmidt just talked about how the Guardians are familiar with him and he's faced them a lot. Only 2 of the Guardians' current players have ever faced Fried. That is advantage Max Fried. It's Ramirez and Santana. Santana's 1 for 19. Ramirez only 0 for 2. When you have a great pitcher and hitters are unfamiliar with him, I think Fried is the one who dictates the game tomorrow.
And on the other side, Slade Ciccone has only faced the Yankees a little under 3 innings. The one guy who's got the big hit, Aaron Judge, 1 for 1 with a home run. So maybe it's Judge time tomorrow.
Todd, if you're in offense, I'm sure you want to flush that one quickly. How collectively do you do that? Kind of forget about tonight's performance?
Right when you leave. Right, get under the sheets, go to bed. If you got to ice up a little bit, don't worry about it. It is one game. Ultimately, they'll be back tomorrow. Get under those sheets and get a good night's rest.
Well, guys, that is going to do it for tonight's WB Mason post-game show. Don't forget, we will be back tomorrow with coverage beginning at 6 o'clock for the series finale between the Yankees and the Guardians here on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. For Jack Curry and Todd Frazier, I'm Meredith Morakovitz. Final score of tonight's game, the Guardians win it 4-0. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you for watching.